Check 1 2, check 1 2, mic check 1 2. What's up? What's up? Jamming on the one. Grace and peace, everybody. We are back. Happy Tuesday to you all. Hopefully, you all had a great day. We're ready for a great show. Got a lot to do. We got a lot to unpack tonight. So hopefully, you all are strapped in. Thank you so much to everybody who's already jumped in to the best live channel on the internet. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. We got up in here already. We got number one. What's that? Giselle's number one. I see you. I see you. I see you. Oh, we cooking. We cooking. Okay, 2, 3, 4. Hello, what's going on? How are you, conservative bug? Good to see you. 5 in the building. All right, grace and peace to y'all. Thank you so much for stopping through. I appreciate y'all. This is going to be I don't want to say like an academic per se, but I just want to look at some things I'm noticing as it relates to the debate landscape. I got a like from you on X today. Oh, shout out for sure. I've been on X a lot today. I have to admit, I've been on X quite a bit today. So shout out to you. Thank you so much for following on through. I see you over there, number 8. Grace and peace to you. We got a number 8 battle of the number 8s. Today I don't want to make it like academic, but on this debate landscape, I think we need to have a conversation about what is an actual debate, because we watched Zach, quote unquote, debate Lisa Knows. We watched Zach, quote unquote, debate Andrew Wilson. Then Zach went over on Gary's channel. Last night, Lisa was on this other content creator, and I'm gonna bring his up in a second, channel. And I think we need to be honest. A lot of these are not debates. They're not debates. They're really just discussions, conversations, talks, if you will. Because I've been doing a little bit of research into debates. I'm like, there's not most of the time when you have a debate, you have a judge or somebody that's moderating it. Not very rarely is it like self-moderated debates where like I hold myself accountable. You hold yourself accountable. It doesn't actually work like that. And not saying that we can't, because I say that these are debates sometimes too, but really they're just discussions. You're just talking. You're just fleshing out something. That the format is one thing, but then also what is actually being discussed. And we're going to look at last night. Lisa Knows was on, I forgot the young brother's name. She was on the brother's channel and they debated for about 2.5 hours. And I'm going to show you just the opening of it. And it's really strange. It's really strange. I don't fully understand what he's doing. I don't know what the young guy is up to. And you can tell Lisa knows what she's doing. Lisa's on to what she's doing. But the format that this young guy was trying to, he tried to position himself as if he was a lawyer, but he's not. And like, well, I'm doing my opening statement before the jury. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? It was really odd. So I wanted, and I made a little slide presentation. We're going to talk about debates and such of that nature. We are also going to look at Natalie's most recent video as well as Bronze's most recent video. And then I got a Charlie Kirk Q&A. And maybe we can add something to, so a little bit of tools to your toolbox, if you will, helping you when you're having these discussions with people. It doesn't have to be about the Charlie Kirk shenanigans. It could be about anything. But being able to parse through an idea and get to the most salient points and making sure you frame your questions correctly, you frame your argument, all that kind of good stuff. So I'm hoping that we can get something from this. I want to get something from it as well. His name was Didi? That was his name? Okay, I forgot the brother's name. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, but see, the thing is, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. You know what? Let's do this. Let's do that first. Let's do that one first. That was not queued up to be first, but let's just talk about it first and let's get it out of the way. I'm going to play the first 9 minutes of that discussion that Didi had with Lisa yesterday. There's a couple of places where I want to stop and point out what I'm seeing as the problem. And one of the main problems is like not understanding what our role is in this discussion. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a lawyer. Like, this guy looks like he's a pre-K law student who thinks he's an actual lawyer. It's kind of crazy work. You don't watch a lot of Law and Order. You watch a lot of Suits and how you think you're an actual lawyer. And it's crazy work. And Lisa calls him out and says, we're not lawyers. I'm not prosecuting. You're not defending. We are just discussing and debating the facts of the matter. He wants to turn this into like a Matlock episode or something. I don't know, like Timu Johnny Cochran, or I have no idea what he was doing. So let me bring this in. Shout out to that young brother for sure.
My name's Demetrius. I go by Didi. And this is Didi Got a Podcast. If this is your first time here, I appreciate you for being here, whether you agree with my position or not. You know, I'm still appreciative. And as always, please hit the like button on your way in. I do want to state for those of you, I've seen some responses across different platforms saying that this is a waste of time and I should just focus on the investigation.
And I want to stop right there. To be honest with you, a lot of these conversations are a waste of time because people are not listening to one another. If I'm not going to listen to you and I'm not going to learn from you and I'm not coming with a humble position that maybe I can learn something, then yeah, it really is a waste of time. There's no lie detected there at all. The problem is many of these people don't realize, like, it's not just a matter of you getting your point out and just, spewing your insight and wisdom, but actually learning and challenging what you really believe or what you think you believe. So I don't think this young man is open to that, because Lisa's making a very clear point that what he's talking about is complete foolishness. It's nonsense. But let him finish up, Jason. Let's go.
Let me tell you why I disagree. Number one, in all honesty, I'm always a little baffled when it comes to this Charlie Kirk investigation. When a person takes the position that they believe what we've been told, or they sort of allude to the fact that they believe what we've been told, when from my perspective,
I'm gonna real quick. I want to stop before this thing gets past me. And I want to talk about this. If you can remember, Mikey, a little later after we get done with this one, I'm doing the slideshow. Bring this back up, and I want to explain why I think the Andrew Wilson, Zach Castillo debate was way better than any of the other ones, and I think I'll explain why.
So many gaping holes in this investigation. When I spend about 90% of my videos over the past 6 months have been about the Charlie Kirk investigation, it's not because I cared so much or that I care so much about Charlie Kirk. It's because I believe the implications are a lot greater and a lot bigger than Charlie Kirk. I believe it was potentially tied to other things that was going on behind the scenes. And if you've been here, we've been through all the weeds.
So he tacitly told you he didn't care about Charlie Kirk, but he also said that I believe it's bigger. Not that I have facts or have any kind of evidence to that point, but just I have a feeling in my gut. Therein is the problem.
Over the past 6 months. But if I'm being honest, another reason this is important is because, and this is just, showing some humility, maybe the people on the other side are right. Maybe they've seen something, maybe they've heard something that I quite do not understand, or I haven't heard just yet. And typically how human nature works, we tend to find ourselves around people that believes in things the way that we do, or we find ourselves maybe even subconsciously searching for somebody that agrees with us. And so from my position, I would like to do that, especially when a person is always open to a discussion or a debate. This may turn into a debate. And the last debate or discussion we had on this channel was with the TPUSA pastor, John Amenchukwu, or one of the pastors on the payroll of TPUSA. And that didn't turn out too well for him, as many of you all already know. Still respect him and his politics, but on this topic, we vastly disagree. And so in this particular case, I'm going to have a guest to come on, and she's been going back and forth with a couple of people, Baron Coleman. I know she's been attacking Candace, and she's pretty passionate from her position. And so with that, I'm going to bring her onto the platform, and we'll jump right into the discussion.
Hello.
Do you go by Lisa?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, to be fair, Lisa said that she wasn't feeling well, and that's why she didn't come across as warm of a personality. I didn't get it. I think Lisa did as well as she could do, all things being considered. I do think that the part of the problem is what we're about to watch right here. The introduction to the discussion, the debate. I don't want to say debate because I really don't think this really was a debate. I think this was really just a sharing of ideas. And in my opinion, the problem starts out with the fact that, well, watch what he does. Watch what he does.
Lisa, I'm Demetrius. Feel free to call me Demetrius or Dee or D, whichever works better for you. I'm totally fine with that. And yeah, I'm gonna just jump right into it so that we're not wasting people's time, so that I don't misrepresent you. Lisa, do you mind just sort of well, I guess the easy ways. I'll ask you this question. Do you believe that Tyler Robinson was the person to take out Charlie Kirk?
Yes.
Okay. This is going to be
okay. There it is. Now she answered his question. He posed the question, and now the in a debate format, then he would choose the negative side, that he does not believe that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk, where she's taking a position of the positive. That's pretty straightforward. Watch what he does.
Be great. This is going to be very great. Sort of, if it's all right with you, Lisa, I'm going to sort of give an opening statement before we hop right into it. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. So
he's giving an opening statement, and Lisa's not going to give an opening statement though, because this is not a formal debate. He's going to he literally said that he's treating this as if they were in court and he was prosecuting a case or defending a case. At least was prosecuting it, and none of those things are true. This is just a discussion. So what he's doing here, in my opinion, is trying to position himself as if some kind of expert. And you saw it if you watched the debate. We're not watching all of it, of course, but if you watched it, you see that Lisa's asking him for evidence, and he's all over the place. It is a hot Mexican jumping bean all over the place. It is everywhere, from bullets to how did he scale the wall to what about clothes to everywhere in between. It's all over the place. She's like, just give me some evidence, kind of like Andrew Wilson was asking for. So let's let him go, Jason.
If this was a court and we were two attorneys, just let me know if you disagree with this, but I would by default be the defense attorney and you will be the prosecution. As to say, you are looking to prosecute Tyler Robinson and I will be looking to defend Tyler Robinson to some extent. And I only say by some extent because I'm not saying that Tyler Robinson is totally innocent, but the very things that we were told about Tyler Robinson, I do not buy it.
That's not the question that he asked her initially. That's why I don't think that these self-moderated debates are as fruitful. You need a non-biased umpire, ref, judge, whatever you want to call it, to keep the question in the context. Like, if Lisa just said that she believes that Tyler Robinson did it, what are you talking about? What is he talking about? Because he's basically saying he thinks he did it, but he doesn't know to what extent. Like that's not what Lisa answered. Lisa said, yes, she believes Tyler Robinson did it. You should be saying, no, I don't believe Tyler Robinson did it. And then y'all debate, discuss, chew it up, and talk about it. But see, that's what I don't think that this is a real debate. I know this young man, feels passionate about it. He's got his little suit coat on, he's got an Easter jacket on and that kind of stuff like that. But I don't think that impersonating Johnny Cochran or doing the wish.com Matlock thing is going to work, because Lisa's not having that. So let's go.
But if we are going to treat this like a court session, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this case is not about headlines. It's not about speculation. And it's not even about what anyone thinks may have happened. It's about one thing and one thing only: whether the government can prove, or Lisa in this particular case, can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that my client, Tyler Robinson, committed the crime he is accused of.
This is what happens when you watch entirely too much Law and Order, SVU, and Suits. You think you're a lawyer, man. Like, look, I'm a pre-K law student, and y'all know what that means. That means I know nothing. Why is he doing this? This is not an opening statement in a court of law. You don't know anything. You have no evidence, sir. You have no evidence at all. So what are you doing?
That is the highest burden in our justice system. And it exists for a reason, because when the stakes are this high, guesses, assumptions, and incomplete stories are not enough. Over the course of this video or this trial, you are going to hear a lot from Ms. Lisa. But when you listen closely, you will notice something important: gaps. Gaps in the timeline, gaps in the physical evidence, gaps in the identification of the person responsible, You will see that key pieces of evidence are either missing, unclear, or open to more than one interpretation. You will hear that certain conclusions were reached before all the facts were fully examined. And you will learn that alternative possibilities were not thoroughly ruled out. I mean, she made, point to some evidence, but you will have to ask yourself, does it conclusively prove who actually committed this act, or does it simply raise more questions, like all the questions that we've had? Because in a courtroom, questions matter. And if at the end of this case, you are left with the reasonable questions about what happened, about who is responsible, about whether the evidence truly adds up, then the law requires only one verdict, not guilty.
What is he talking about? See, this is that parasocial thing that we've allowed parasocial behavior, main character syndrome to get together and bump uglies and have these stupid children. Because this is just dumb. Sir, we are not the judge, the jury, the executioner. We're none of that stuff. We're at worst, we're bystanders watching. That's about all we are. We're not, and this positioning yourself as if you're a lawyer is just nasty work. And like and Lisa's not going to fall for it. Shout out to Lisa. She's not falling for it, but sir, this is a debate. We're having a conversation. At best, we're having a conversation on this, over on the sidewalk or at the over in the fellowship hall or at the barbershop. This is not you think too highly of yourself. And I'm sorry. This Timu Johnny Cochran behavior is unacceptable. Let's go.
Tyler Robinson does not have to prove anything to anybody. He does not have to explain anything away. The burden never shifts to him. It stays at all times with the government. And if they cannot meet that burden, if they cannot eliminate reasonable doubt, then your duty is clear. At the end of this video or at the end of this trial, we are confident that you will see the evidence does not meet that standard. And when you do, we ask that you return the only verdict that the law allows, not guilty. I would like to start off with a question. What is it that has...
He already posed a question. We don't need to pose another one. He already posed the question. And you know her position because all she's going to do is point to the charging documents. That's all she's going to point to, which everybody keeps referring to. So if you want to start on page 1 and go through it, that would make more sense than just sitting here bloviating. I have no idea what he was doing. This is kind of embarrassing.
Made you so definitively convinced that Tyler Robinson did this?
It's the only thing that makes sense. It's the only thing that we have no substantial evidence to support any of the other theories that have been put out there. Over the last 6 months, it's been a consistent, steamroll of information that's being put out. I'm not going to sit here and cosplay a trial. We're not lawyers. You're not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, unless you have a legal degree that I don't know about.
Shout out to Lisa. She said we ain't cosplaying in the courtroom. We ain't cosplaying up in here. I don't know. I have no idea. This is some wild work. Let's go.
Information that's being put out. I'm not going to sit here and cosplay a trial. We're not lawyers. You're not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, unless you have a legal degree that I don't know about. But at the end of the day, as someone who debates topics, I kind of think that this is ridiculous. But at the end of the day, unless you have something to present that is substantial to tell us that we can go in another direction outside of Tyler Robinson, what the state has provided in that charging document, you cannot put something on a charging document that doesn't exist. You cannot hold a man behind bars just for shits and giggles. That's not how this works. At the end of the day, there's a very real system here and a real process that has been working in this country for hundreds of years. Is it perfect? No. But typically, most of the time, it works the way that it should. Unless you can get, like you said, enough reasonable doubt, and then you get a Casey Anthony or you get an O.J. Simpson. And is that truly what you want to happen in this situation? That if this man truly pulled the trigger and you're wrong, are you okay with him being able to walk because of the circus that has been created online?
No, but let me address something. You said that it's not fair because we're not actual attorneys. Well, Lisa, the reason why I started off
Well, we're not though. You can't overlook that. You're sitting here. He literally said that. Did he not say that? If we were attorneys in court of law, we're not though. It would be like saying if I was an NFL football player, but you're not, Jason. It's irrelevant. You're not.
What I did is because the man is actually on trial for real. It's not like we're just saying somebody
Absolutely,
that they haven't arrested.
but what expertise do you have in the legal system?
None.
Have you taken a single law class?
She killing them. She cooking them. She cooking them.
Nope.
Nope, me neither. I'm not going to sit here and try to be something that I'm not. At the end of the day, I am not a legal expert. If you want to talk to a legal expert, you need to get Andrea Burkhart or somebody like that on your show.
The problem is, Lisa, you don't actually care if somebody's a legal expert.
What do you have after 6 months of this rigmarole that we've had online? What do you have to substantiate that there is like another finger that we can point somewhere outside of Tyler Robinson?
Got you. All right. So Lisa, again, you don't actually care if somebody is a legal expert or not, because you're actually arguing with attorneys that take the position that I'm taking. So you don't actually care about that. So don't.
But I can argue with an attorney. You can argue with a doctor. You can argue with a police officer. I don't recommend it. I'm telling you. But you can argue with an expert in their craft or the field. That doesn't guarantee that they're going to be blameless and without flaw. If they did something or said something that wasn't right, you can correct them. That's not a problem. So just because Lisa does correct or argue with or argue against persons in the law field, that doesn't mean that she's wrong. Okay, so like that idea and that notion, well, you argue with experts, and what's your point? What's your point?
Pretend that you do.
Second of all, that's not what I said. I said I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I am a legal expert or have any legal
but somebody with
that
a legal
I do not have, and you should not be doing so either.
See, and this is the bad thing. I don't know what the fallacy is. Because I have argued with a police officer in the past does not mean that conservative bug can take the position of a legal expert or a police officer, law enforcement officer, and like I can't argue with them. Like, what are you talking about? That's silly. And I think Lisa did a great job of doing this. This is not a debate by any means or measure. I'm going to show you a quick little slide presentation I put together about what debates actually are. 1v1 debate is. This is not it. This is a discussion at best, a conversation. There's a little bit of shouting that happens later on, and that's fine. We can have a discussion, a heated discussion, right? But if you want to, and again, he's trying to do this formal debate format, but he's all over the place.
That's fair. But what I'm saying to you is, but the people that are, you also have a problem with their position.
I do, because even with the law, there's obviously different opinions, but Baron Coleman is not connected to this case in any way, shape, or form. And he's also financially benefiting off of this narrative that he's spinning. So no, I'm not going to take someone who's financially benefiting and is in Candace Owens' pocket.
I can't argue with that because I don't know if that's true. That may be true. I don't know.
He literally said on his podcast last night that he was on the phone with her. So what do you think? She plays his clips on her show. It's very clear that they are in cahoots with one another.
Got you.
All right. So that's the end of that. And I just want to point that out. Like we might need to be a little bit more judicious, a little bit more gatekeeper about the term debate, because this isn't a debate. That was an argument at best, a heated discussion at worst. Let me pull that out like that and do like this. All right. So let me go over. This is just a quick. Many of you all may or may not know my daughter is a debate champion, and so went through a couple of her books and the format that they do debate. They do team debate though, so this I did have to get it augmented for a 1v1 debate. But let's just go with it here. If y'all would work with me and be so kind, and let me just see if this makes some sense. So you got a 1v1 debate. You have a motion, and my motion was Adidas are better than Nike. Right? Or Adidas is better than Nike. So there's going to be an affirmative and there's going to be a negative. And the focus is what matters the most. So we're not going to talk about pricing. We're not going to be talking about size differentials. We're not going to be talking about where they're made or anything of that, unless it gets down to what matters the most. Okay? So that is the framing of the debate. Now, here's the affirmative construction. We got our framework. We're going to be talking about comfort. We'll be talking about style, and we'll talk about culture. The arguments are the boost of comfort, streetwear dominance, and cultural influence. That would be the affirmative, if you will, of that. Adidas are better than Nikes. The cross-examination, the negative coming at the affirmative. So then they ask me questions like, how do you measure comfort? Which is a valid question, right? Why is culture more important than performance? Now, notice we didn't talk about performance. We didn't talk about athletics or anything of that nature. We talked about cultural relevance. And then lastly, what about Nike athletes? Okay, so this is just a different approach. And by the way, thank you so much. Thank you so much. The reason why I think, and here it is, there you go. Respectfully, the reason why I think the Andrew Wilson, Zach Castillo debate was so good and people were really like so good about it is Andrew did not get off of his square. Andrew knew exactly. Andrew understands this way better than I do, right? Andrew knows what he's talking about. And so Andrew didn't buckle and go off in these little rabbit trails and these little side quests and all that kind of stuff. He knew exactly where he was going, what he wanted to do, and how he was going to do it. And so when we see Andrew, he's not all over the place, tiring your brain out. Because I went back and I did watch it again. So I watched it with y'all, and then I watched it again. And I'm like, you don't feel mentally tired. I don't know how to say, I hope that makes sense. And if it makes sense, please let me know in the chat. You don't feel like your brain is overworking, trying to follow all these different, chasing waterfalls or all over the place, right? And I think that's because Andrew stayed right in pocket. And you see the frustration on Zach's face because he can't go all these other places. What about the bullet? What about the screwdriver? What about the bomb sniffing dog? And what about the maroon shirts? None of that stuff got into the chat. None of that stuff got into the debate. So I really believe that the reason why the Andrew Wilson and Zach Castillo was better because Andrew was in control of the debate. Period. End of story. He was in control of it. He's sitting there smoking his smoking his cigarettes, drinking his coffee. He was not going to be bothered. He knew where he was going to go, and he was not going to go anywhere else. I'm on my way to Tennessee. You are not going to get me to Mississippi. You're not going to get me over to Florida. I am on my way to Tennessee. And I think that was the reason why. Now, no shade to anybody else who's quote unquote debated somebody, no shade to Lisa, no shade to Gary, any of those other cats. And we're going to look at the Baron Coleman debate earlier as well. Or I'm sorry, Rage Bronson discussing Baron Coleman about his debate with Andrew. But my point is, I think that's why many people found Andrew's better or more beneficial, if you will, because Andrew was in control of the discussion, and he knew where he was going to go. He was walking him down the street. He was on his way to Tennessee. He was not going to veer to the left or to the right. He was not bothered by any of that stuff. Okay, let's keep it going. Okay. And I hope that made sense. So here's a negative construction framework: performance plus innovation plus reach. And here's the arguments. We got the athletic, performance, shoe technology, and global dominance. Notice those are none of the things that we were talking about in the intro. So these are the things that the negative would be trying to introduce into the debate. And I hope that made sense. So here's some questions, cross-examination. Do everyday people need athletic performance? Does size matter better, or size mean better? We're talking about the size of the dominance of Nike in the shoe wearing space. And what about lifestyle use? Okay. And then lastly, affirmative rebuttal. So I'm going to attack the negative rebuttal by saying performance isn't the most important. I want them to defend everyday comfort matters more. And then lastly, I'm going to line it up by Adidas fits daily life. So that would be the example. Notice everything is staying right here in the general vicinity of Adidas versus Nike. We're not introducing Reebok. K-Swiss has not entered the chat. New Balance, I don't care how much you like them, they're not in here as well. Converse, who? Okay. The negative rebuttal: style changes, performance lasts. Quality equals performance, and if it fails in use, it fails overall. So that's just another example of pointing out some problems in the shoe wearing space and how does it actually fit and how does it actually work. And then final affirmative rebuttal: judge on everyday value. comfort plus culture wins. So the closing, Adidas works for everybody. That would be my closing statement, if you will. And then my key lessons debate is about what matters most, control the framework, win the debate. So again, when you set up the framework properly, you're able to, when you set up the framework properly, you're able to say, hey, these are the rules of engagement. And we're going to see that when we look at Rage Bronson in a minute. When people don't set up the framework properly, you're just all over the place. That's why most of the Cantifa people don't want to talk about the charging documents. They don't want to talk about that because they want to talk about all of these hypothetical whataboutisms. But they don't want to say, okay, on the charging documents, it says this. And because it says this, I believe X about what it says on the charging document. They don't want to do that. They want to go everywhere and anywhere but those charging documents, because that is at the current moment, the best collection of all the data that we have, all the evidence that we have is on the charging document. We're not talking about, having a conversation with Ray Ray down the street from UVU. Is he in a charging document? We're not talking about that. We're not talking about the Yautja and the invisible cloaking device. Is that on the charging document? Then we're not talking about it. But they want to talk about everything and anything. And keep in mind, a lot of the stuff they're talking about is just like whataboutisms. Is a possibility, sure. Is it feasible? I don't know about that. But we don't have any reason to believe that would happen. Kind of like when Andrew Wilson asked Zach about the Predator. It doesn't make sense. Sure, it could have happened, but it doesn't make any sense. There's a lot of problems with that. And why are we even introducing something silly like that? Therein is the problem. I hope that made sense. So I was looking at Lisa's and I understand what people were saying. It was extremely exhausting. And I don't think it was because of her. I do think it's because the young blood just wasn't willing to listen, because he already knew where he wanted to go. He wanted to sit there and just ramble on about all the different whataboutisms that have been introduced into this case by people who are not in this case, by the way, which is crazy work. But he would much rather talk about that and just about whataboutisms rather than actually what's in those charging documents. If you can take apart what's in the charging documents, now we have a discussion. But you just throw out another theory like, what about a bag of chips? That has nothing to do with our conversation. What are you talking about? Or, what about purple unicorns? Sir, are you okay? What's going on with you? All right. Kimberly says, all things Tyler Robinson are draining me. Andrew stays in control, even if he's losing. He does some verbal jujitsu to get himself back in control. Okay, I haven't watched a ton of his, but I need to see one where he's losing. That's what I need to see. Phantom says, the search dog thing is stupid. Dogs that are trained to hunt down humans may not be trained to sniff out bombs. That is a very weird, but see, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're throwing out another theory. Like, okay, here's a question about the dog. Where did you get the information about the dog? Where is it? Because I don't know. I don't remember it in the charging document. I haven't read it in a while, but I don't remember the bomb sniffing, Second Amendment sniffing dog in the charging document. Maybe it was. If y'all can remember, let me know. My point is simply this: where'd you get that information from? Maybe you need to check your sources about where you actually get your information from, because they might be leading you astray. My friend is a police officer, and I will only argue with her. Other police officers, that's a hard no. But we've been friends for 18 years. Absolutely. And hey, I have friends that are in different fields of discipline. We'll argue for sure. No question about that. But you arguing, Jeep lady, you arguing with your friend who's a police officer doesn't mean that you can argue with me and I'm pretending to be a police officer. Like, that's not the same thing. Stop it. And that's what he was doing. No reply. I called the police department. They have one K9 officer, and he is not a bomb sniffer nor a gun sniffer. Really? Gunpowder sniffer. Okay. I think I remember that. I totally have forgotten about that whole the dog thing. I did forget that. Bomb dog is from the police scanners. So was it on the charging documents? I don't know. I don't think the bomb sniff. I'll be honest with you. I don't think the bomb sniffing dogs will come into it. Finding a debate. Andrew is losing. I know he's probably had some, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. Shout out. Thank you so much, Ben. The obscure moderator. Thank you so much. The question is, what exculpatory evidence do you have to present to the court that would sway a judge to dismiss the charges against Tyler Robinson? That's it. And they don't have any. They just have a bunch of whataboutisms. Well, we don't know about this. What about this? You didn't look into that because it wasn't necessary. Why? It's because of his verbal jujitsu. If he gets in trouble, he gets out of it. I like it. I like it. Hey, I like Andrew. I think Andrew is he seems like a fun guy for sure. Hey, shout out, Lady Phoenix Gray. Shout out, brand new member. Thank you so much for being a member. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, let's get at it. I want to talk about Rage Bronson. And he did a breakdown of Baron Coleman and what he said as it relates to debate. And I just want to, I'm hoping that we leave from here and people really feel like, you know what? I might be using that word a little bit too loosely. You know what I mean? But then also, when we're in a debate, what we probably need to do to set some boundaries is very much akin, if I'm using a bad example, feel free to correct me if you think this is bad. If I got together with a bunch of my friends and said, hey, let's play volleyball. And they say, okay, fine. We go out to the park. There's no volleyball net. There's no sand pit. There's no boundaries. So we need to do all that stuff. We have all the tools, though. We have all the tools. So somebody's going to walk out, measure out the sand pit, right? Somebody's going to fill it up full of sand. We'll find a half court and put the net there, all that kind of stuff like that. So you need those things in order for a functional game of volleyball, sand pit volleyball or whatever, beach volleyball. So if you don't, it's just going to be crazy cattywampus. Do you always have to have sand, though? No, you don't always have to have sand. If you have some good lines drawn or some good barrier or, good indicators for where your corners are, I guess you can still be pretty good. You do really need a net, though, right? It's going to be hard to play volleyball without a net, right? So there are certain things you got to have. And in my opinion, you got to have certain aspects of this in order for it to be a functional game or a good debate. So you do need to have some good boundaries. You do need to have that net. You don't have to always have sand. If you're going to be, if you're going to be falling on the ground, you might want some sand or something like that, or some soft surface, but you don't necessarily need it, right? Do you need Olympic style volleyball? No. Do you need, a line judge? Maybe, but not necessary. So you see my point. There's certain things you got to have. There's certain things that are negotiable. And there's certain things, if you don't have them, the world's not going to come to an end. So looking here, I thought this would be good listening to how Bronson looked at Baron Coleman and why Baron Coleman doesn't want to debate. I think this is interesting. So bring this in, Jason. Green hearts in the chat when y'all can hear. Wait, there's a go button.
I've watched Zach now do 2 debates. I admittedly did not watch all 11 hours of the combined debates, but I've watched 2 debates, flipped around, watched clips people sent me. I want to advise people, and I've had people encourage me, you need to debate this person. You need to debate that person. You have to establish a ground rule.
I have no argument about that at all. I agree. I just said that. I do think that we need some ground rules, but let's let them finish up, Jason.
And if you're going to debate a trial, I suggest the burden of proof that goes with trials. I don't have to prove anything. I don't have to prove Tyler Robinson didn't take a shot. I don't have to prove anything. You have to prove he did.
If that be the case, then lead with that. If you have to prove, I'm going to prove that he did from the prosecution is going to prove that he did from the charging documents. They have all of that evidence there, and I'm sure there's more that goes along with it. So that's where they're going to start with. So why are we talking about something that's not on the charging documents? Why are we talking about, maroon shirts and, palm guns and all the other ignorant stuff? Talk about what's in the charging documents. That's exactly what Lisa was asking that young guy to do. Like, let's stick to what's in the charging documents. Let's stop pretending, cosplaying like we're Johnny Cochran and Timu Matlock, and let's actually talk about what's in this document and whether or not that is substantive enough to put Tyler Robinson away.
You have to prove he did, and prove it beyond a reasonable doubt in order to win the debate and thus the trial. And I would suggest to you that there's just not the evidence from which to have a seasoned debate, a reasonable debate right now. Here's why. The only thing we have is the charging document.
No, that's funny. That's funny how he says that. The only thing we have, sir, y'all deny everything that's in the charging document. I think y'all deny Tyler Robinson's name on the charging document. Y'all argue that the charging document is on white paper. Like y'all argue about everything. So you don't actually have anything. What is your evidence, sir? And I think it's adorable. He's like, oh, we have the charging document. Y'all don't affirm the charging documents. What are you talking about?
That's it. That's the only evidence they're going to be able to present is the charging documents. And a few comments made by law enforcement officials, like Cash Patel made a comment about the palm gun and this and that, palm print, on the gun. But what they don't have is this mountain, this overwhelming evidence. There's all this stuff they think they have.
But do they not? How do you know that? How do you know that? Do you know that? Because it's adorable. He says they don't have that overwhelming amount of evidence, but y'all don't have any at all, period. It's adorable that they just say, like, oh, well, they don't have all this evidence. Sir, what evidence do you have? That was what the question was to him. I mean, to Zach. That's what the question has been to the guy that Lisa was engaged with. Like, where's your evidence? Where is your evidence? You say we don't have a mountain of evidence. We got a molehill of evidence. We got a nice little ridge of evidence. Y'all don't have any evidence at all. You have a crater of evidence. It's like negative. It's a negative mountain.
And so what are we debating? Like, I'm still trying to figure out who was where, when, how, all these types of things in order.
Well, for example, we're debating the fact that you said that Andrew Colvett is guilty of murder. You accused him of murder. So we're debating what is your evidence to that point? I can't imagine that. That's some crazy work, man.
To present the robust defense for the debate. But until we start seeing some semblance of evidence, all we have is an affidavit and a charging document. I'll be happy to debate people on that. I'll be happy to. You go through the charging document, you read what it says, you tell me your interpretation of what it says, and I'll poke holes in it. I'll win. That's a guaranteed victory.
That's a low.
Can't lose that debate.
Actually, you can.
You can't lose it. But I don't think that's worth anybody's time. So I would advise against that. I would rather say, Zach, you do your shows, let them do their shows. That way we can speculate. We don't have any kind of limitations. But if people are just hell-bent on getting their brains beat in, let's have a debate according to the rules. So that's number one.
In case you guys don't understand what Baron Coleman just said there, he basically said Zach got his ass kicked not only once, but twice, and recommends that nobody on their side have any debates. Just do your show, let them do theirs. That way we can just freely speculate and we don't have to worry about being challenged or have any pushback at all whatsoever on our speculation. I figured, you know what? I'm going to send Baron a super chat and I'm going to basically call him out and say that he's too afraid to have any type of discussion or debate with Andrew Wilson, just to see how he would respond.
Baron giving a reason to not debate because he knows he would get absolutely destroyed by Andrew Wilson. No, I don't think so. I really don't think I would. What I'm saying is, what are we going to debate? Like, I will debate him, but we got to limit it to he is trying to make the case that Tyler Robinson killed him. That's the burden is on the movement who is stating something. The burden is not on the defense to prove anything.
I agree.
So what is it I'm trying to prove?
That Tyler Robinson didn't do it. It's really not that hard. It's that easy. Like, and Baron Coleman knows that. He's smarter than that. All right, let's go.
I can't prove he didn't take the shot because I don't know where he was. I don't have the evidence. We have a charging document with a limited amount of evidence in it. Short of that, I mean, I don't understand what a debate is right now. I'll be happy to talk to him. I'll have a conversation. But a whole, like, I'll debate you and we'll talk. No. I mean, unless you want to try to prove Tyler did it and let me just sit there and poke holes in the evidence. But that's what I do every day. Like, I sit around and poke holes in the evidence. It's the nature of the show.
So Baron Coleman basically says, in kind of a wishy-washy way, you know what? I would do it. I would do it. Not sure if I would do a debate. I'd have a discussion. But if we did debate, this is what my stipulations would be. Fair enough.
So he wants, there's some ground rules, there's some line markers, right? We know where the net is going to be, whether or not they're going to be sand or not. So that, I think that's fair. Let's see how he goes.
Fair enough, Baron. I figured I'd go ahead and post that to social media and see if we can get Andrew Wilson's take on that. Well, Andrew Wilson responded. Simple. My debate position will be the state has provided the most rational explanation and given the best evidence to date on what happened to Charlie Kirk versus the position you have alternatives to the state's evidence, which is more viable or gives a better explanation of events. Pretty much what Baron Coleman's asking for. Now, I don't know with 100% certainty that Baron Coleman was aware of this. I'm sure that he saw this. Just guessing. I don't know how he could have missed it. He's tagged in this multiple times. So, what is his response the next day?
We're all waiting.
Okay, we probably need to go on Kalshi and start posting over and unders on betting on whether or not Baron Coleman is going to actually debate Andrew Wilson. This is crazy work. Oh, he sent him again. All right, wait. We are waiting for you to accept Andrew Wilson's request and announce that you will be doing a discussion with him. Surely you won't back out. Looking forward to watching the battle of wits. Okay, shout out.
Waiting on you to accept Andrew Wilson's request and announce you will be doing the discussion with him. Surely you won't back out. I've not accepted. I can't back out. Looking forward to watching the battle of wits. It's not about backing out. It's I
would do the debate. I would do it. These are my stipulations. This is what it would have to be on. I'd gladly do it or have a discussion. Whatever wish-washy way he said, right? Whatever wish-washy way he made, basically accepted it. Well, now he hasn't accepted it. Can't back out of something I didn't accept. Sure thing, Baron.
Explained in the show. I don't know if you were still watching. I don't understand the purpose of trying to debate something where there are so many unknown facts right now. This is an investigation. You don't investigate.
No, it's not an investigation. Well, couple problems there. We're never going to know. So all of this is just literally performative. Let's just be honest, right? We are not in Utah, unless of course you are in Utah. We're not jurors. We're not law enforcement. We're not judges. We're not lawyers. We're not bailiffs, any of that stuff. So none of it, all of this is performative. We're all LARPing when the smoke clears. So all of this is just, just exercises, just activities. So I think you need to keep that in mind. We're not an investigation. We are not investigating anything. We are just talking. That's what we're doing. and CJ is blessing. CJ is blessing. He said, bless 5 people with membership. Shout out to him. Y'all, if y'all got a membership from CJ, please tell CJ. Thank you. Put his name on it. We're here in the South. Say thank you, CJ. Appreciate you, man. Grace and peace to you. But back to Baron. No, Baron, don't try to back out now, my brother. Don't try to back out now. We are not in this is all what y'all have been asking for. So if you've been asking for it, you got to take it. Talking about, well, I don't know what we're debating. Sir, we can debate all of those things. He already told you what he's debating. This is interesting.
No, this fact is true. No, that fact is true. No, that's not true. No, this is true. This is true. No, that's not true. That's not a debate. That's an annoying conversation. If he would like to sit here and read the charging documents and say, this is what the state alleged, what do you say about it? But I mean, I can pull them up and do that. I'm not sure. It's like saying I want to debate who's going to win the football game next year. We don't know. Or who won the football game next year? Who's got the better chance? Well, I don't listen to that stuff. It's nonsensical. It's you're just arguing over nothing. But I'll be happy to talk to him.
But that's not what it is. He's actually gave you the stipulations though.
You know what bothers me about the other side of this discussion? I don't understand why they're so angry.
Hold up.
Like when
up. Okay, now see, I didn't get this far on the thing. This is some gaslighting 101. I've never met people who are more angry than the left and Cantifa lunatics. I'm sorry. You are not going to beat those charges. You are not going to put those charges on me. You are not. There's no way in the world. Let me pull up that video of him fussing and cussing about Andrew Colvett and the flight data. You'll never see that kind of stuff from us. No, you are not going to sit there and gaslight us, sir. No, sir. You are not gaslighting us. No, sir. Y'all are the most vitriolic, insane people I've ever seen. And there's a lot of people out there that are insane. And I'm sorry, Cantifa by miles. I'm sorry. There's no way he said that.
The Kennedy thing comes up. Charlie Kirk was very skeptical of the Kennedy government narrative. No one, I mean, I sort of.
I don't understand why they're so angry, guys. Charlie Kirk was very skeptical of certain things. Yeah, there's a difference between being skeptical and trying to paint a narrative. There's a big difference between being skeptical and literally defaming people and accusing them of a horrible crime with zero evidence. Big difference between being skeptical and making accusations.
Fact.
Gee, I don't know. I wonder why we're angry. Probably because we give a shit about the truth. And everything that you're doing and the way that you're doing it, Baron, has nothing to do with truth.
I'm gonna push back because Baron professes to be a Christian. And the problem is, well, one, I don't see the fruit of it. And that's why I spell his name Baron, as in like barren land or barren of fruit. But even more than that, if he professes to be a Christian and is literally dealing in and exchanging in lies, sir, we have to have a conversation about that. So no, like it's almost like I lie on you and then you get upset and I'm saying, well, why are you angry? Why are you pushing back? Because you're lying? How about that? Can that be a possibility? That, I'm kind of not really fond of being lied on. If I can do something about it, I would like you to not lie on me. Speak the truth. If I've done something wrong, speak the truth then. But see, that's the problem with these people. And I keep saying it. It's just interesting to me that every last one of these people demonstrate no evidence of conversion except them saying it. That's just a wild take. Because I guarantee you, if you just looked at Baron Coleman's body of work, you wouldn't have came up with a conclusion, oh, that's a Christian. You would not have come to that on your own. Candace, fill in the blank, all the other yahoos, you wouldn't have come up there and said, that's a Christian. No, you'd have said, no, that's an unbeliever. So yeah, people don't like being lied on. Call them crazy that they don't want to be lied on. And they do want to push back on you besmirching their good name, especially if they haven't done anything. So, how dare they want to push back? But again, I'm sorry. I have to disagree with Bronson here. I'm sorry. We are not even a third of as angry as these lunatics are.
Tonight, but no one accused him of being evil or demonic or stupid or a lunatic or anything like that. He just had valid questions about facts that didn't seem to fit the government narrative, or things that he believes are facts that didn't seem to fit the government narrative. Books have been written on this. People have talked about it for now 6.5 decades. Why does Charlie Kirk have everyone all stirred up? Why would you have a guy? How much did he pay? He paid $10. And he paid, I think, 10 or 20 the other night. Why would you have a guy pay me $30, 20 or $30 to come in here and give me a hard time based? I mean, you can pay me as much as you want. That's fine. Make it 100.
You do know that you could have totally ignored him though, right, Baron? You didn't have to bring it up. You could totally just looked over and be like, okay, he blessed me. Thank you so much. Rage, I appreciate you. And you never had to pull it up. You pulled it up for a reason. I propose, if you listen to him, listen to how his tone has changed. Listen to how his cadence has sped up. I think he's upset about that thing. He doesn't like being called out, and he doesn't like the fact that the guy paid him, and so he feels inclined to say something about it. You don't have to. You could ignore it.
Make it 200. Make 500. But why would you have someone come in and pay money to give me a hard time because I'm not buying the government narrative?
Why? What is he trying to imply there? Why would you have somebody come in
There you go.
and pay me money just to give me a hard time? Or do you not think that I'm perfectly capable of making decisions on my own, Baron? Do you not think that I'm perfectly capable of deciding that, you know what? I want to see how full of shit this dude is, so I'm going to spend some money, super chat him so he reads it, and I get a response from him. Because if I just did it in his regular chat, he probably wouldn't see it, or they would, which they did, put me on mute. Why would I do that? Why would I go in there and give Baron such a hard time? My bad, Baron. My bad. I didn't realize I was giving you a hard time by challenging you on the things that you're saying.
What is your interest? What is your interest? What is the interest of anybody? It should be the
What is your interest? Like this question can go back and forth both ways. This question cuts both ways. So what is your interest?
truth. The more it's investigated, the more we find the truth. And I don't understand why anybody would be opposed to that.
He seems
Not opposed to finding the truth, Baron. What truth have you found?
6 months.
What truth, Baron, have you found? Anybody care to enlighten me? What truth Baron Coleman has found that goes against the Fed slop? What truth? All right, so far we have him saying, don't do debates. I'd be more than happy to debate Andrew Wilson if we did it this way. Maybe I won't debate, maybe a discussion. I didn't accept, even though I put out stipulations as what I would want the debate to be, which Andrew Wilson gladly accepted. And then we go to, well, I haven't accepted it. I'm not backing out. You can't back out of something you didn't accept. More wish-washy. I'd be happy to have a discussion. I don't think it would be good. And then he finishes it up with another stipulation. Here we go.
We all see right through your intentions, Rage Bronson. I'm not attributing any ill will towards him. I just don't understand the desire to see a debate that is not ripe. Maybe after the preliminary hearing and we see some actual evidence, maybe it would be ripe for debate. And I'll be open to that. But short of that, I mean, an interview, a discussion, I'm open to that. Happy to have him on the member show and we'll chat our way through it. I don't really do interviews on the main show, but happy to do it on a member show. But again, if I'm going to insist that we follow sort of a rule, which is your job is to make the claim. You're claiming Tyler Robinson alone planned and executed Charlie Kirk. Make your case. I will listen to it, give you 15 minutes, 20 minutes if you need to. Just talk, make the case. And then I will ask questions about it. Why do you think this? What do you mean by that? Maybe we'll all learn something. It might be a genuine discussion. But the idea that we go back and forth over nitpicky points about, well, you said Erica was here and it's not relevant. Not relevant to the charging document.
Not relevant. Nothing I've said is relevant. Nothing Baron Coleman, in his own words, nothing he has said is relevant. None of his speculation is relevant. None of the claims he has made is relevant. None of the accusations he has made is relevant. Nothing. Nothing he has said throughout this entire 6-7 months is relevant, crazy. According to Baron Coleman's own words. Are you going to do the discussion with Andrew Wilson or not? Are you going to sack up and do the debate or not, Baron? Just come out and say it either way. If you're too scared, it's totally cool. I get it. I wouldn't want to debate Andrew Wilson either. I totally get it. It's not that big of a deal, dude. Just say, no, I don't want to debate or have a discussion with Andrew Wilson because he's definitely going to kick my ass. Totally get it. The whole time in his chat while this is going on and we're discussing this, right? Andrew Wilson is bad. Andrew Wilson, just a bunch of negative comments toward Andrew Wilson. Andrew Wilson's a joke. Andrew Wilson doesn't know how to debate. Andrew Wilson's not a good debater. Like all of these excuses that they're throwing in his chat, it's like, okay, so if that's all true and you all believe this, should be an easy day for Baron Coleman then, right?
A cakewalk.
Shouldn't be an issue at all. If Andrew Wilson sucks, if he's not good at debate, if Baron Coleman is so confident that it's just a bunch of Fed slop, should be an easy day for Baron, right? And then he even brings up, I would do the interview, maybe on my members only show. Oh, okay. So you're going to do it now. You're not going to do it. You don't want to do it. You don't think there's any point. You don't think it'd be entertaining. but you think it would be entertaining enough that you would put it behind a paywall.
That's crazy work.
So
Shut
it's
up.
not entertaining. You think it would be annoying. You don't think anybody would want to see it, but you would put it behind a paywall. Why would you put something that nobody wants to see behind a paywall? That doesn't make any sense, Baron. That makes no sense. I would put the things that people really want to see behind a paywall. That's what I would do personally. If I was trying to grift and make a bunch of money, I would take the good stuff, the stuff that people really want to see, and I would stick that behind the paywall. I wouldn't put anything that nobody wants to see behind a paywall. That doesn't make any sense at all.
Not at all.
Before we move on to exposing how stupid their conspiracy theories are when it comes now to the whole bullet didn't match thing, I found this pretty interesting. Just wanted to challenge Baron Coleman.
So we haven't talked about it, and we'll talk about it a little bit later about the whole bullet in the situation right there. But anyway, I just want to make sure I address that. Let's go
on the lies that he's spreading about Gary from Paramount Tactical, where he's basically saying Gary was somehow trying to prove or make the case that Mitch Snow was never at Fort Huachuca, when in fact, Gary has never made that claim. Gary has never even tried to push that narrative. Gary has always been of the opinion that Mitch Snow was more than likely at Fort Huachuca. Let's see what Baron has to say here.
Can you show me where Gary ever says Mitch Snow was at Fort Huachuca? You can't. Gary was always of the opinion Mitch was probably there. No, he said the police report was fake. I don't know. I'll go back and look. Duly noted. Look, if I'm wrong on that, I'll be happy to correct it.
Duly noted. If I'm wrong on that, I'll be happy to correct it. Yeah. We'll just we'll sit here and hold our breath waiting on that correction that's never going to come. I don't know. Maybe he will. Who knows? Maybe he will. If he gets enough pushback, maybe he'll go back and admit to his audience that he's full of shit. I doubt it. Can't imagine he would want to do that. Not a big deal. Oh, did I? Oh, I don't know. Just an oopsies. My mistake. My mistake for spreading false information about somebody. Whoops. Just an opinion, guys. It's just an opinion. These people, man. These people don't give a shit. Let's break down the stupidity of this bullet doesn't match thing. All right.
Do y'all want to watch this, by the way?
Has anyone investigated Tyler Robinson?
Do y'all want to dig into this one, or y'all want to let it slide? Let me know in the chat. Green Hearts, what do y'all think? I mean, we can play it for sure. I know. I was going to play Gary's video that he dropped last night, proving that Baron knew that he had addressed that what Baron had said about Fort Huachuca was not correct. And he knew this. So that's why he pulled it in. Y'all want to watch that real quick, or y'all want to watch the, let me know in the chat real quick. Y'all want to watch the Fort Huachuca video, Gary's video? If you haven't seen it, it's hilarious, by the way. Gary, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm going to make a judgment call because Gary was a beast here. I think he did a great job. So let me just pull this in very quickly. I think you'll enjoy it. Shout out to Gary, Paramount Tactical, Green Hearts in the chat when y'all can hear my good people. My people, let's go.
About the one lawyer that makes all lawyers look bad. And you know exactly who I'm talking about. Candace Owens' number one simp, that is Baron Whisper Campaign Coleman. Now, Baron would probably describe himself as a disinterested party, but I got to tell you, he's made himself Candace Owens' personal Baghdad Bob, just out there spreading propaganda left and right, lying, and he's made himself Candace Owens' personal attack dog. He goes after any and everyone that just points out the truth, the fact that Candace Owens has zero evidence of a single material claim. But being her lapdog, he's going to go after anyone and everyone that's just reporting the truth. Now, I've done a lot of research with Baron, and most of you know that he's a lawyer, and he's currently registered with both the Florida and the Tennessee bar. And I have checked, and I got to tell you, all the defamatory claims that he has made against, and accusations that he's made against Erica Kirk, TPUSA, and Andrew Colvett, those violate every single ethical standard of both the Tennessee and the Florida bar. It would be a real shame if he was taken to task and held accountable for his ethical violations, given that he is a lawyer and what he's doing to undermine our own justice system. Now, I got to tell you, I actually owe Baron Coleman some gratitude because I wanted to prove to everybody that he was a professional propagandist. He has a long history, going back to his time as a government informant That's right, he was a government informant that as a lawyer unethically went around and intentionally tried to create a whisper campaign in order to prejudice a jury. Can you imagine? That's crazy. But besides that, I wanted to prove that he was a propagandist and he was lying about me and everybody else. And man, Baron Coleman has done yeoman's work to make this easy to prove. He is my number one guy. As a matter of fact, Baron, I appoint you an honorary member of my harem of
Gary's broads.
But I don't want to put words in Baron's mouth. Let's listen to his lies about me from his own mouth.
That all of these attempted alibis, the Mitch Snow wasn't at Fort Huachuca, that went through Gary. He tricked Mitch Snow's son into confirming that Mitch Snow was at Fort Huachuca. That was not known. In fact, that was hotly debated at the time. If you remember, if you go back in time, when the Mitch Snow idea first populated, there was a lot of doubt whether he was even there.
Well, let's take his advice, go back in time and check the record, because luckily the internet is forever. Let's see what I actually said prior to my December 27th interview with Mitch Snow's son. Look at this.
All right, folks, again, this is a very common tactic with disinformation. What they do is they confirm, they show you proof, or say they even confirm, the non-material elements of the story. All right, I can confirm you were there. Who cares? Who cares if you can confirm this guy was there, or you can confirm that he stayed at a freaking Best Western somewhere near Fort Huachuca? None of that matters. What matters is you confirm what he's saying, or anything. I mean, she confirms nothing ever. I mean, that's the problem with all this stuff. I don't doubt that he was, matter of fact, I'm quite sure he was down at Fort Huachuca. That doesn't mean anything. So for those of you who don't know, Candace Owens shared this, I don't know, as proof that Mitch Snow was there. And again, I don't doubt that Mitch Snow was there. And then she gives you this trash right here and says, oh, this is proof that the entire thing happened. I don't care if Mitch was at Fort Huachuca. A very common tactic with disinformation. What they do is they confirm, they show you proof, the non-material elements of the story. Point. And I don't care if it does. I don't doubt that he was there. All right, he's a weirdo. They said he was acting weird, making threats. The next thing you know, bomb dogs are called. Who cares if he was there? Brian Harpole wasn't there. Eric Kirk wasn't there. And no matter amount of proof, again, we have no proof of any of this. And they don't want to give you any proof of any of this. They don't want to give you any proof of any allegations, but they demand that you prove with evidence your innocence. That's not how the system works. All right, that's crazy. We're in late crazy land. And the fact that that's the standard on which Candace operates constantly, it's just retarded. A very common tactic with disinformation. What they do is they confirm, they show you proof, the non-material elements of the story.
The Mitch Snow wasn't at Fort Huachuca. That went through Gary.
The Mitch Snow wasn't at Fort Huachuca. That went through Gary.
Do you see what Baghdad Bob did right there? He proved my entire point about disinformation. He wants to distract you completely away from the fact that Candace Owens didn't provide any evidence of a single material claim. And then what he did, he created a complete new narrative that refocuses your attention on a claim that was never made at all and isn't one of the substantive claims. We don't care if Mitch Snow was there. But I always stated, I believe Mitch Snow was there, because that's how disinformation works. And man, Baron, did you prove my point. You went right back to that point that I said, hey, this is what they're going to do. They're going to focus on the non-material claims, and that's exactly what you did. But luckily, you are a man of character and integrity, because this is what you said right here.
I have this open standing agreement with anyone who has evidence that I've been wrong or that my opinion needs to be changed. Give me the evidence and I'll change my opinion. I'll make a correction.
Okay.
That goes for everything I've said. Everything.
Well, thank you, Baron. I appreciate that offer. I'm going to take you up on it, because now that I've proven beyond a reasonable doubt that you have lied for months out there defaming me, claiming that I said something that I didn't, and making a whole shtick about it. Oh, look at Gary. Look what he did. I never said those things. So I'm sure at any moment you're going to issue a statement retracting every bit of that nonsense, and you're going to come out and you're going to come clean with everybody out there. So I'll be waiting right here, waiting for you to retract your entire bullshit statement that you've been pushing around for the last few months. Oh, and you really should debate Andrew Wilson. I'm sure all the lies, all the nonsense that you've been pushing for the last 6 months, riding on the coattails of Candace Owens, I'm sure he won't be able to touch any of that stuff. Anyways, everybody else, you have a wonderful day. And until next time, stay armed, stay ready. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, shout out to Gary for Paramount Tactical, calling out Baron Coleman, round 2. Let's see what happens, y'all. What y'all think? You think he's gonna ever do it? You think he's gonna do it? I don't think so. I don't think so. No, I don't think he is. I think he's gonna find a way to do the debate watusi and get out of it. I don't think he's gonna do it at all. I don't think so. Shout out. Okay, shout out for sure. All right, if you don't mind, let's go ahead and jump over here. We said we were going to look at Bronson breaking down the whole bullet didn't match thing, which I think is very needful. So we'll do that. We'll bring that in. So with no further ado, we're back. Bronson, good to see you, man. Glad you hung out with us, brother. Let's go. Let's go. Green hearts in the chat.
His defense team. Can we trust him? Long-time listener, first-time caller. People have. And there's some weirdness there, to be honest with you. There's one of the guys, I think, named Bert, may or may not be a cousin of the Farnsworth. I think we've we'll show that maybe when.
So at this point in his video, he's already brought up the whole breaking news from the Daily Mail, where the headline was something along the lines of bullet fragment or bullet doesn't match rifle in Tyler Robinson case, which is a misleading headline because it's not a confirmed non-match. It came back inconclusive. They can neither confirm nor deny that it is not from that rifle. Such a stupid point. And Baron Coleman knows this. I have to assume, okay? I have to assume with him being a lawyer that he's aware. But did he come out and say that? Did he clarify what that really means in that article? Of course not. Of course not. Just so like nobody else on that.
Shout out to my sister from another mister. Here, I'm gonna give my opinion on this matter. Okay, I'll give what I believe the situation is. First of all, the headline is misleading from the Daily Mail. It's not that the bullet doesn't match; it's that they can't conclusively match it to it because why? Because it's fragmented. I gave the example on X. If you had a teacup that was a part of a set, you had a teacup that was a part of a set, and you smashed it, and it was smashed. It was fragmented beyond fragments. As fragments had fragments, it would be very difficult. You would probably still know that it was a piece of china or a piece of ceramic or maybe even a teacup, maybe even can tell the color, but you wouldn't be able to match it to its particular cousins that didn't get broken. And that's why I understand what's happening here. We say, hey, we know that this is probably a piece of china and more likely a cup, because we can see some curves and some stuff like that. We know that this is probably a teacup. We just can't confirm that it's a part of this set of teacups. Now, granted, there's supposed to be 6 of them. There's only 5 of them. We can kind of draw a conclusion that one of these is the one that's broken. But really, when the smoke clears, we can't confirm that this is the teacup that's missing, because the other teacup might be upstairs. Maybe they took it and it's in the car or something. We don't know that. So that's how I understand that issue, is that using my really bad teacup example. I'm not a ballistics expert by any means or measures, but that's how I understand it. But then lastly, reading through it, I kind of surveyed it. I didn't read through it with any real intentionality. Reading through it, I don't believe that the defense team actually believes that, because my very last point is if all of this conspiracy took place that Cantifa has been pushing, all of this conspiracy, you mean to tell me in the midst of all of this conspiracy, they used the wrong gun? They dropped the wrong gun and they didn't match the bullet? Like, they did all of this stuff to not get caught, but they dropped the wrong gun, the wrong prop gun, the wrong false gun. Really? Right, for real? They couldn't have worked that out. They worked out all the other stuff, all the other parts, but then this part right here, dog, what gun did you use? Oh yeah, I used this gun. Oh, I used the 30-06. Oh man, we messed up. Like, come on. That's just silly. And to me, that doesn't make any sense. So that is my opinion on it. But what do you have here? the way they can test anything nowadays, you think they could definitively tell where it came from. When you see a fragmented bullet, if you look on X, and I'm not disagreeing with you at all, Pam Armstrong, if you look on X, the fragments of a bullet are crazy. How do you pick them up? How do you do it? I mean, sure, there would be some ideas, but I don't know how it works. All right, lots of good conversation back here. Okay, let's bring Rage Bronson back up in the building. Bronson, keep us going, brother. Let's go.
That side did. They just ran with it all over Twitter. So here's my point. According to these people, there's this grand conspiracy cover-up that involves intel agencies, possible foreign governments. It involves the medical examiners being in on it, right? If you guys go back, I don't even know, 4 or 5 months ago, the big deal about they never did an autopsy. Oh, they're just going to fake the autopsy if they did it. They'll just blah, 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 blah. So it's got all of these people involved, right? But somehow this big, giant, grand conspiracy, they screwed up on 2 things. They shot Charlie Kirk with a different projectile than one that came from the alleged rifle, and then couldn't falsify that it was a match to the rifle. So we have this giant grand conspiracy with all of these actors involved. Everybody's paid off. Everybody's in on it. The defense team's in on it right here. Has anybody investigated the defense team? All of these people are involved. But, they just, shucks, they just couldn't falsify that fragment was a match. This is so stupid. It can't be that there's this giant conspiracy with all of these brilliant minds involved, and it's a huge cover-up, but they couldn't falsify the documents to show that the bullet fragment was a match. Couldn't do that. Got to be completely honest about that one, guys. We can't cover that one up. That one has to, and on the flip side of that, we don't believe anything from the Fed slot, but we believe this part of the ATF. Which is it, guys? Which is it? Do you believe him or not? Which one? Moving on to the final segment of the video here, we're going to bring back up Rob McCoy. So I'm in Baron's chat, right? And I'm asking people in there, hey, does Baron still believe that Rob McCoy was responsible for what happened to Charlie Kirk? You guys would not believe how many people in his chat were like, Baron never said that. When did Baron say that? Show me a timestamp. What episode? When did Baron say that Rob McCoy was not only responsible, guys, but a direct cause of what happened to Charlie Kirk? Pretty incredible that I know more about what Baron Coleman has said these past 6 months than his own fans. Probably because I'm more interested in the truth than they are. I enjoy listening to both sides of this because I am interested in the truth. If they come with some valid points, I'm interested in it. 100%. Here's the problem. They haven't at all. Nothing that they've said or shown has refuted the state's case in any way, shape, or form. None. They have provided zero evidence of any other involvement besides Tyler Robinson. They sure as hell haven't proven or shown any evidence that Erica Kirk or TPUSA were involved in any way, shape, or form. Nothing but speculation based off of feelings, vibes, and stuff that they consider to be weird. Now, let's see what Baron Coleman's response to my question here is. And then we're going to go back about 4 months, and I'm going to show you where his position on Rob McCoy was, and if he still keeps that same position today.
You still think Rob McCoy is responsible for what happened to Charlie Kirk, like you said months ago, or have you changed your mind? Depends on what you mean by responsible. Again, I appreciate your...
First off, what do you mean it depends on what I mean by responsible, Baron? I didn't make the claim.
That's funny.
What do you mean by responsible? What did you mean by him being a direct cause? I don't mean anything, Baron. I didn't make the claim.
Your donations, Rage. I think it depends on what you mean by responsible. Do I think he pulled the trigger or caused something to explode under Charlie's shirt? No.
Something explode under Charlie's shirt.
Do I think he shares in the responsibility.
Hold on. Something to explode under Charlie's shirt is crazy work. They're still doing the exploding microphone. Man, that's tiring, man. That's got to be tiring. All right, let's see what he says.
Of the broader reasons why Charlie Kirk is no longer with us, in my opinion, yeah, I do. It's just an opinion, but yeah, maybe.
Oh, it's just an opinion, guys.
Just an opinion, man.
Just an opinion. Is it just an opinion, Baron? Let's see.
This in the Los Angeles Times the day after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. This is about Rob McCoy. Charlie Kirk's spiritual advice came from a Ventura County pastor. Right here. Kirk credited McCoy as the religious leader who encouraged him to combine his Christianity with his conservative political beliefs. In a 2021 interview, Kirk said that when he first met McCoy, the pastor told him, "You're a Christian, and I want to tell you that not only does the Bible say a lot about civil government, not only does the Bible say a lot about how we should interact with our leaders, but I think you should talk more publicly about it." Kirk's Turning Point USA had previously been an avowedly secular youth organization. That's important. Had it stayed that way, he'd be alive.
You think?
But he would go on to declare that God was on the side of the conservatives and that pastors had a divine duty to preach against the progressive policies. He liked to say there was no separation of church and state. So what happened? How did Charlie Kirk end up in the grave? Rob McCoy. In the law, we have two types of liability. We have direct cause and proximate cause. Direct cause means like I hit you in the head and now your head has a spot on it. That's a direct cause. Proximate cause is I set up conditions so that if everything fell right, it would hit you in the head. Direct cause, proximate cause. Is he the direct cause? Yes, because had it been an avowedly secular institution, a furry who just accepting the government's and mainstream explanation for how he died. If it had been an avowedly secular institution that was worried about free market principles and economics, a furry who plays Magic the Gathering with his buddies is not upset about Charlie Kirk's politics. He doesn't care, probably doesn't know about them. He wouldn't climb the Losi Center, he wouldn't lay down in a prone position, and he wouldn't take a crack at Charlie Kirk's jugular. So that's the direct cause. It's also the proximate cause.
Does that sound like an opinion, guys, or does that sound like a claim?
I mean, it sounds like a claim to me.
Because
What
it
do y'all
sounds
think?
to me like a claim. Rob McCoy is the direct cause of what happened to Charlie Kirk.
So what happened? How did Charlie Kirk end up in the grave? Rob McCoy.
How did Charlie Kirk end up in the grave? Rob McCoy. I'm not a lawyer, guys. Okay, not a lawyer. But that sure sounds to me like he's making an accusation
He's made
that
that
Rob
before.
McCoy is the direct cause for Charlie Kirk's unaliving. Now, if Rob McCoy is not, if Rob McCoy is completely innocent, which it definitely appears to be the case, that sounds like that might be a defamatory statement, no? If you're directly accusing somebody for being the cause of somebody's unaliving, of which they're not, I think that's defamation. Could be wrong. I could be wrong. It doesn't appear that Baron Coleman talks much about this anymore, unless somebody like me brings it up, which his chat, by the way, was completely unaware that he had ever made these claims to begin with. What's my conclusion? What's the conclusion, guys? Baron Coleman is completely full of shit, and I don't foresee that we will ever see him have a discussion with anybody on the opposite side, let alone in Andrew Wilson. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next one.
All right. Shout out to Rage Bronson, great friend of the channel. I appreciate him always giving his insight. I appreciate it. All right, let's look at Charlotte. There is another video I want to look at. I want to look at Natalie's video from today, but let's look at Charlotte. Let's go. Let's do a throwback and check out brother Charlie Kirk. Shout out real quick. Mood, if you want to drop me an email because you're saying some stuff in the chat that seems a little bit interesting. If you want to, you can come on and fix this claim right here. I would love to hear this claim clarified. I would love for you to clarify that. So if you want to, go ahead and shoot. Let me know. And I would love to hear it. We can have a discussion, not a debate. All right, let's go. We're gonna bring Charlie back up in here. All right, real quick, make sure I didn't miss anything. You can jwit@jwit.com. You can shoot me an email right now. We can clarify this right now. That's my email. All right. Appreciate y'all. What do we got here? All right. I see a lot of good conversation. What did we say? Stop talking and making excuses for screwing up players. People see it over it. Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Okay. Let's Charlie Kirk is having a discussion. America was built on racism. Let's bring it in. Let's talk about it. Let's go. And I've seen this young lady before. We've been at this is a university in Tennessee. Go Vols. All right, let's go. Green Hearts in chat when you can hear.
I think that this country's view, especially when we're coming now into DEI and we're coming into defunding of Department of Education, we're coming to taking the Tuskegee Airmen out of being taught.
That has been reversed, just for the record.
Okay.
Tuskegee Airmen.
But there's been multiple other things besides Tuskegee, but also the whole debate on critical race theory, teaching slavery in schools, teaching Black history, et cetera, et cetera.
Always been
These
taught.
are things that are being targeted specifically when it took years and years to even get them in place. I think that this country is built on using the Bible, not even 100 years ago, to defame and to dehumanize Black people.
How?
There has been use of the Bible specifically when people used to come into the church and talk about how slaves should obey their masters and how that's
what the Bible says that though. Yeah, the Bible says that. So what's the problem? The scriptures say that. What's the problem? Are you a slave? What is that? I don't understand. Well, what is your problem? Because keep in mind, and I know Charlie's going to answer the question. I don't actually know how he's going to answer the question, but please keep in mind the reason that slaves were freed in the United States is not because of Jehovah's Witnesses. It's not because of Muslims. It's not because of Seventh-day Adventists. Sorry, it was because of Christians. And guess what they use as their foundation to say that slavery, chattel slavery, and slavery were wrong? The Bible. So, ma'am, I'm sorry, you might need to know a little bit more what you're talking about.
What the whole relationship between white and Black people were. I think that this country specifically has a lot of racist rhetoric that is built in that is not being targeted. I think that.
So let's try to find some common ground. Is that okay?
That's fine. That's fine.
Can you give me a definition of racism?
Racism. In terms of, I will say, okay, before I
use the term,
yes,
so I want to make sure we're talking
fair.
about the same thing. Is that cool?
Yes, that's fair. I will say that I will state that I am biased because I will be speaking as a Black person specifically from the United States of America and not anywhere else. But I will say racism is a discrimination against people of a minority that does not have a what is racism?
I don't know. You used
racism without using the word.
Can't use the word racism.
Can't use the word. That's I'm trying. A discrimination against a minority class of people in order to create an imbalance in the society or a hierarchy based on something that is undetermined as of color, race, the color of your skin, or maybe even color of your skin.
Can you be racist against Asians?
Yes.
Can you be racist against white people?
I believe that you can have prejudice against white people.
There y'all go.
But in the way that this country
it's the lyrical gymnastics. Enter the chat. The lyrical gymnastics is here.
Was built, and the way that this country has been founded, and the way that there are many laws that have taken place, specific like where you were talking earlier with the whole reparations debate, there are many legacies of white people in this country that...
Guys, just... Okay, let's just all take a breath. Gigi's talking.
Which I also would like, I feel like that kind of comes into, yes, we're not all from this country. This is a country of immigrants. This is a country of people from other countries. So let me give you an example.
Yes. If a group of Black individuals, which happens unfortunately so often, say, we want to go beat up whitey, and they go beat up a white person, was that a racist thing that they did?
I would have to ask for further context, but yes. Based off of that,
cool.
Yes.
So, but then let's go back to your definition, because your definition was that it had to be the exercise of power. I'm going to make your definition better for you, because the exercise of power against a minority group.
Yes.
But in that case, it wouldn't be, because it would be a group of Black individuals versus a white individual.
Correct.
So wouldn't a better definition of racism be a human being or institution prejudicing or stereotyping against anybody else because of their race?
I do agree that is a better there's a better definition in terms of how racism is used in society, in terms of setting people behind not having equal amounts of opportunities in these institutions, specifically colleges, jobs, et cetera, hospitals.
It's super ironic that she's literally standing in a college in Tennessee saying this. That's crazy work. And she doesn't look like she's tattered and torn. So the fact that she's there at a school saying that that's gonna have to be studied by science. It's gonna have to be. All right, let's keep this going. Let's dance.
But that is my point. I feel like in this country, we don't talk about enough, and I think that under this presidency,
don't talk about too much. What enough?
We don't talk about the history and the impact of long-term racism in this country against minorities.
Can I just press pause?
Yes.
That's all we've talked about the last 5 years.
That's all we talk about.
I mean, but hear me out. 1619 Project. We have entire Black dedicated channels on Pluto and Hulu and Netflix. We have reoriented the entire national dialogue to have non-stop race obsession.
Right.
So I think we've talked about it thoroughly and properly.
So do you think that Black people in this country have equal opportunity and are treated equally as white
Absolutely.
people?
So let me prove it to you, okay? So Gigi and Charlie. What can Charlie do that Gigi can't do?
Okay, I don't know anything. I don't really know much about you. I don't know
based on the law.
Just based on the law, right? Based on the law.
Capable
no,
of?
No, just on the law. What am I allowed to do on the law that you are not allowed to do on the law?
On paper, nothing.
That's equal opportunity and equal treatment, right?
On paper, yes, that is true. Like, I was born under this country. I am a citizen of America. I am an American. I am a Black American. I am a follower. I am a child of God. We all are. I 100% stand on that. But I think that basically what I'm trying to get at is I feel like in order for us to have these conversations and to keep having these conversations, we need to have a specific platform that we're able to meet each other on the common consciousness of this society. And I don't think we can have these conversations if we do not understand that Black people specifically, because I really can't talk about Asians. I'm not Asian. I can't talk about other people of color, but Black people in this country specifically have never had the opportunities to bring themselves back up. When you're talking about the destroyment of the Black family, that also came with a big chunk of the Reagan administration, which was—
No, that's our choices. I'm sorry, you're just making, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna let that go. We make that choice. We make that choice. Reagan didn't have nothing to do with it. Crime bills don't have anything to do. I see somebody talking about the 90s crime bill. I see somebody talking about systemic racism. That has nothing to do with the fact that Black men and Black women don't marry before they have children. That has nothing to do with it. You can make as many excuses as you want to, but you're taking the onus and the power to fix the problem off of the people, the only people that can fix the problem. You're blaming it on other people. Other folk don't care. Nobody else is going to worry about it. If Black folk don't care about the fact that Black babies, 80% of Black babies are born into a single parent household, if we don't get concerned about that and try to change that and turn it around, nobody else is going to do it. I don't expect Asian people to do it. I don't expect white people to do it. I don't expect anybody else to do it. So please miss me with that. So all of these little excuses that we make up, it really sounds like you're trying to evade accountability. And there's some bona fide consequences that we have brought into this situation. They ain't got nothing to do with white people. Nothing at all. Not a thing. So you can sit around here and go all historical to the cows come home. But guess what? That does not fix one situation. That does not make one Black man marry a Black woman and have babies. Not a one. So you can sit there and excuse yourself till the cows come home. But it won't fix anything. Because this is what the goal is. The goal is to put the blame on somebody else. It's white man's fault. It's the drug bill's fault. It's this person's fault. No, it's the fact that we don't value marriage anymore. Just like education. We could talk for 3 days straight about education, but at the end of the day, Black people don't value education like our ancestors did. Point blank, it's over. There's nothing else we got to talk about. So stop blaming other people. Stop blaming, again, like the fact that this young lady is standing at a very prestigious college, go Vols, and is sitting there talking about how she's oppressed. See, at some point you have to say the irony is staggering. It's killing me. Okay, Mood, why don't you go ahead and shoot me an email? If you want to, you can come on. Mood, you're welcome to come on because I got time today. And once I make the offer to come on, you actually have to come on. So I ask that you have your camera on. Here's the link. All you're going to do is click the link. Make sure that your camera is on. You don't use any profanity and then we stay on topic. You said that this is not true. So I need you to explain why what I said was not true. I've made the offer to you now, Mood, to jump on. And I'm asking you to go ahead and click the link and get on. Because I'm waiting for you. And I'll say this again. I'll say this with my whole chest. If we stop playing patty cake with the fact that our men and our women don't get married, we would see, and when we start encouraging young men and young women to get married, we would see a decrease in the abortion rate. I've been married for 24 years, going on 25 years. I have 2 daughters. Both of my daughters are my wife's and my children. Guess what? We don't worry about abortion. You know why? Because we don't encourage the hookup culture. So the same thing applies. The only reason that Planned Parenthood has a steady stream of customers is because we encourage the hookup culture. Instead of that, we want you to get married culture. Meet me. Come on. Yeah, Mood, I need you to pop on in. For real, though. I dropped the link for you. When I drop the link, you actually have to. No, you shot me an email. No, come on, jump on. Yeah, I'm dropping the link to you in the email too. I don't need you to shoot me an email. I need you to go ahead and hit the link because I need you to tell me what I've done that is incorrect. You said that I was lying. You said that is not true. Mood is on the phone, so let's go ahead and make that happen, Captain. Yeah, I am. I'm actually stopping. Yes, I am. I know you're like, wait, is this fool stopping? Yeah, I'm stopping the whole. Yeah, we stopping the whole thing tonight. He's in the vertical chat. Because we sit here and we make up all these penny ante excuses. We make up excuse after excuse after excuse. And we don't want to be held accountable. We don't want to actually say, you know what? I'm wrong. And I'm going to tell you right now that young lady's wrong with her definition of racism. And I'll bring it up here because the Bible calls it partiality. What she's trying to do and what people do when they try to say, well, what about systemic, whatever? They're trying to put the blame on somebody else. I know somebody in here was talking about systemic, and you're welcome too. Okay. You're welcome as well. I'll drop the link for you also. The Bible knows nothing about racism. The Bible knows nothing about it. It knows everything about the word partiality. My brothers, this is James chapter 2. My brothers, show no partiality as you hold the faith in our Lord Jesus Christ, the Lord of glory. For if a man wearing a good ring, a gold ring, of fine clothing comes into your assembly, and a poor man in shabby clothing also comes in, what does that mean? It looks the way they look on the outside. The way they look on the outside. So they're externals, their skin color. And if you pay attention to the one who wears the fine clothing and say, you sit here in a good place, while you say to the poor man, you stand over there or sit down at my feet, have you not made distinctions among yourselves and become judges with evil thoughts? Listen, my beloved brothers, has not God chosen those who are poor in the world to be rich in faith and heirs of the kingdom, which he has promised to those who love him? But you have dishonored the poor man. Are not the rich ones who oppress you and are ones who will drag you into court? Are they not the ones who blaspheme the honorable name by which you were called? Let's keep going. If you really fulfill the royal law, according to the scriptures, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. You are doing well, but if you show partiality, not racism, partiality, you are committing sin and are convicted by the law as transgressors. For whoever keeps the whole law but fails in one point has become guilty of it all. And we know the rest of that from there. The Bible knows nothing about racism because there are no races. We have people group and ethnic groups and nationalities at best. The problem is we like to try to make an excuse. And then let me go ahead and just hurt all your feelings. Let me just go ahead and keep the feeling hurt train going. Let's go and look at the book of Philemon. Philemon is written by the Apostle Paul to his friend Philemon. And guess what he's doing? He's sending a gift back to his friend. What is the gift that Philemon is sending back to his friend? Hey, no, what are you talking about? There's no credit card to click on the link and get on. You just click on the link and stop being ridiculous. All you gotta do is push the link. I'm talking about some doggone credit card. Please don't come in here lying like that. Paul is sending a gift back to his friend. Y'all know what the gift he's sending back to his friend? If you don't have the wherewithal to click on the link, you don't have to join anything to click on the link. My goodness, in the morning. I'm looking at the link right. I just clicked on it myself. If that's too difficult, then good gracious in the morning, you ain't got no business come over here talking to me about racism and that Charlie Kirk is stupid. You don't have no business doing that if you can't click on the link. I'm sorry, that doesn't make any sense. Paul, a prisoner for Christ Jesus, and Timothy, his brother. To Philemon, our beloved fellow worker, and Agatha, our sister, and Acropolis, our fellow soldier, in the church in your house. Grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus. I thank God always when I remember you in my prayers, because I hear of the love and of the faith that you have toward the Lord Jesus and for all the saints. And I pray that the sharing of your faith may become effective for the full knowledge of every good thing that is in us for the sake of Christ. For I have derived much joy and comfort from your love, my brother, because the hearts of the saints have been refreshed through you. Accordingly, though I am bold enough in Christ to command you to do what is required, yet for love's sake, I prefer to appeal to you. I, Paul, an old man and now a prisoner, also for Christ Jesus, I appeal to you for my child, Onesimus, whose father I became in my imprisonment. Formerly, he was useless to you, but now he's indeed useful to you and to me. I'm sending him back to you, sending my very heart. I would have been glad to keep him with me in order that he might serve me on your behalf during my imprisonment for the gospel. But I prefer to do nothing without your consent, in order that your goodness might not be by compulsion, but by your own accord. For this perhaps is why he departed from you for a while, that you might have him back forever, no longer a bond servant. Onesimus was a slave. Onesimus was a slave. Paul sent back the slave back to his slave owner. Let's keep going. But more than bondservant, as a beloved brother, I especially to me, but how much more to you, both in the flesh and in the Lord. So if you consider me your partner, receive him as you would receive me. If he has wronged you at all or owes you anything, charge that to my account. I, Paul, write this with my own hand. I will repay it, to say nothing of your own owing me your own self. Yes, brother, I want some benefit from you in the Lord. Refresh my heart in Christ. Confident of your obedience, I write to you knowing that you will do even more than I say. At the same time, perhaps a guest room for me, for I'm hoping that through your prayers, I will be graciously given to you. Epaphras, my fellow prisoner in Christ Jesus, sends greetings to you, and so do Mark, Aristobulus, Demas, and Luke, my fellow workers. The grace of our Lord Jesus be with your spirit. He literally sent the slave back to the slave owner, but told the slave owner to free him and treat him like a brother. And later on in church history, there's a bishop, and the bishop's name is Onesimus. Many people believe that this is the Onesimus that Philemon let go, that one time was a slave that ran away from his master, met Paul, and Paul sent him back, only to be freed by Philemon, not only in the natural sense, but to be freed in Christ. That the Bible is racist. People are just ridiculous. Let's finish up. Grace and peace, everybody. Let's finish up.
Which was forever and whatever ago.
How is it the government's fault of why dads aren't around?
I mean, we could get into the whole, like, the rhetoric of crack babies and crack drug dealers.
So, but isn't it a decision to take drugs?
Oh, no, 100%.
So, and it's a decision to commit crimes.
Yes.
Okay, so the government didn't do that to them. People decided to take drugs.
That's true.
So here's my contention.
Go ahead.
So you have a population that dads are not around, that is very, very murderous per population capita, that is very violent, more likely to be involved in gangs. And we, as conservatives look at that and we say, wait a second, like, the problem is within the community. The problem is not the government. The problem is not the culture. The problem is not the history. Instead, really what needs to happen is black leadership, black pastors, and black dads need to go into the black community and say, we're better than this. Cut the killing, cut the violence. Do you know the most, one more point.
Go ahead.
Who is, outside of heart disease and all that, what is the #1 killer of black people in America?
I know about like diabetes, but
fellow black people. A black person is far more likely to be killed.
The fact that I'm watching Charlie Kirk, who somebody told me was a racist, he's arguing again with a black woman that black people can do better. Which one is the racist again? Which one is the partial? Which one is demonstrating partiality? Charlie Kirk just said that black people can, leaders can come to the community and say, we can do better. This woman gonna come up with 45 excuses and she's looking for 5 more. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Mood. I'm sorry. I feel disrespected by you because you're saying that what I'm asking you to do requires a credit card. And that's a false statement. You've already disparaged me twice in this chat. You've already said things about me that are not true. And when I ask you to come on, you're telling people that I'm requiring a credit card. That makes me sound like a scammer or a sham. And I'm deeply offended by that. And so I'm going to say, because you don't have the wherewithal to go ahead and click the link, the moderators now know what to do. You can shoot me an email and maybe I'll let you back. But if you can't click the link and you can say things about me like that, but you don't have the wherewithal to click the link and get on the chat, then sir, we don't have anything else to do. You're removed. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
By another black person than anything else. Black people are a greater threat to their own people than any other community. So it's not like white supremacists coming into these communities and they're mowing down. It's black on black gang violence.
But that's not okay. I just like to go back to something that you said earlier about like how it has nothing to do with the government. The history of black people in this country has everything to do with the government. At one point, the government allowed and pushed and raised forced slavery. That was something that this government did. They made laws.
What's that got to do with today, though?
Segregation. So in terms of the long history,
the fact that Charlie Kirk just literally said the number one, the leader of black people in 2024, I think this was, it might've been 25 or whatever, in modern day is black people. And this young lady has got to go back into the history and come up with some kind of story about the past, which again, nobody is disparaging or saying that it didn't happen in the past. All we're saying is that it doesn't play a role in today. And the man just literally said, what's causing black people to kill black people? And this girl gonna talk about laws in the past. That makes no sense.
You can't take out the fact that government has played a major institution.
Of course, government plays a role. Gigi, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
How did that legacy of slavery prevent you from getting to this school and having a great career?
I think that, okay, I'm sorry, I got kind of distracted. Can you please restate your question?
So Gigi, what I'm trying to do right now, I'm going to give you a warning, is prove that your own life experience is actually at odds with some of the things you're saying.
I agree.
Is that cool? So here you are at the University of Tennessee, correct? You're a student.
Yes.
Go Vols.
You have the whole world as your oyster in front of you. You could study hard. You're going to graduate. You're going to do better than most people in probably the community you came from. Just guessing. I don't know your background, but based on how you're talking. How did the legacy of slavery get in your way?
I would say the legacy of slavery got in my way in the way that I am not a legacy child here. I would say that it got in my way in the way that my parents, my grandparents were not afforded the same. We're not at one point even allowed.
I'm the only graduate in my family. And I went back and got another degree. So I have an MBA as well as a bachelor's degree. Nobody else in my family has a college degree. And I mean, a lot of my family. I'm the only one. What does that got to do with anything? Like, what are we talking about? Well, what does that mean? I don't understand. So what? A lot of my family made bad decisions too, by the way. I got members of my family made horrible decisions. They could have and should have made different decisions. But what is the fact that I'm not a legacy that shows some form of racism? Because Charlie is asking her, how did that keep you from being successful? Not your parents. Let's go.
To be on the property of this school, I think that is one of the things that has gotten into this way.
But you're here. It didn't get in the way. So here's
the
the attitude I want you to adopt, Gigi, and I'll close with this. Instead of just looking at everything in the past that's wrong and bad through a victim lens, say, you know what?
It's still going on. Okay.
One sec. Say, you know what? I'm an American. And I'm going to use my mental energy to say, despite all of that, I get to succeed and flourish and prosper as a Black American at the University of Tennessee. You are a living embodiment, Gigi, that you can still succeed as a Black individual.
I would just disagree from the simple fact that I feel like there are a lot of barriers, there's a lot of obstacles, there's a lot of prejudice just in somebody might look at me and not even assume that I could
How
even
do you
get
know what
into
they're
the
thinking?
Critical race theory gave people the ability to read minds, Charlie. Don't you know that? She can read minds. But again, I think it's adorable. She's talking about being oppressed all while she's at a school doing what most people are not doing, which is crazy work.
I'm not saying that I know what people I don't know what people
You just
are
said
thinking.
that.
I'm saying I can assume from prejudices that I know exist in this country.
Hold on a second. I got to go time out. And you know what? If you walk around here and you go see, this happens all the time, and you see a white boy with the short shorts and kind of acting all, you might say he's only there because of his parents.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, it happens a lot at these Southern schools, right?
I mean, it happened. I mean, I was raised
So
in Michigan.
everybody has to overcome some form of bias, prejudice, or stereotyping. What's most helpful? Let's stop talking about it so much and talking about how we can apply ourselves to become better people and better citizens. Thank you so much, Gigi. Thank you. Thank you.
No, I agree with I am with Charlie 100%. The issue is that we look too much. We're driving forward, looking in the rearview mirror. And again, I am not minimizing that. Sure, there are things that have happened in the past. I'm not saying that those didn't happen. What I'm saying is that you have not convinced me that those things apply today and are impeding you from being successful right now in the year of our Lord 2026. You just show me how that works. Bring up redlining and gerrymandering and Tulsa riots and all that stuff, like Black Wall Street. How does that stop you today, right now, today? You specifically, not a collective thought either. So we're not doing the collective. We're not the Borg. I want to know, like, how does it stop you from doing what you want to do right now? I just think it's interesting, though. A lot of good conversation going on in the chat. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate it. All right, what we got here? People don't realize it's not an even playing field. Generational wealth benefits white people. How does it work for Asian people or Indian people that come here again, or African immigrants, for crying out loud, that come here and they themselves have generational wealth? They have outpaced those naturally born Black people in America, and they are outpacing them. Explain it to me. And every white person doesn't have generational wealth, by the way. So, like, let's stop creating this narrative, this false narrative that every white person is just rolling in the bucks, because it's just not true. We're making excuses. Just stop. If we stop making excuses and held ourselves accountable, do you realize how much better we would be? Let me give you an example. Everybody in this chat has either tried to lose weight or save money. So pick one of those ones. You had to hold yourself accountable, because you have accountability partners, your bros that you meet up at the gym, or your girlfriends that you go walk with, right? Or somebody that's going to ask you about your money. Are you saving your money? But really, it's on you. You know it's on you. And the more you hold yourself accountable, I'm not going to eat after a certain time. I'm not going to pull through the drive-thru. I'm going to go home and cook a meal, or I got my meal already, a meal prepped, all that kind of stuff like that. You're holding yourself accountable to your success, because it's not anybody else's fault that you're not successful. So whatever it is, it's on you. Why do you want to put the onus on somebody else? Maybe that's the question I need to ask. Why do you want to have the power? Shout out to Tanya. I love you. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. I know a lot of Black people you're assuming that they don't have wealth, right? Good gracious, man. My best friend has generational wealth. Like, why do we want this to be true? Because you're making a narrative, you're making a claim, and then you go out and seek for the answer rather than find the answer and say, oh, this is a realism. On my desk is a black shaker cup. All right, there's the realism. Not me like, I wonder if I can make there needs to be a black shaker cup on my cup. Oh, look, I found it. I'm real. Like, stop. Why do you want that to be true? She said, I sure don't have generational wealth. Like, isn't that exhausting? Not every white person has been born into wealth. It's just tiring, man. Like, y'all make somebody sleepy, man. And we might have to just do nap time up in here. Because y'all are tiring. Like, oh, it's nap time. It's nap time. Y'all are just lame. Why do you want to sit there and point the finger? Okay, how about this one? Every white person has generational wealth. Okay, fine. Every white person is born a millionaire. What's that stopping you? What is stopping you from being wealthy yourself? I just want to know that. Well, y'all are lame, man. I'm sorry. And I don't mean to be offensive. Please don't be offended. Get over it. But why do you what is generational wealth? What is generational wealth? Like, what are y'all doing, man? You got to feel some kind of way, y'all. I'm sorry. I had another video we was gonna do, man. Y'all making me sleepy, man. It's like, come on, for real. Why don't you want to take ownership of your own destiny as best you can? The Lord has given you free will to not go to Chick-fil-A, to meal prep so that you can lose some LBs so you can feel good about playing with your grandkids in the front yard and not huffing and puffing. But no, you use your free will to look across the street at your neighbor and blame them for why you fat. Man, you are lame. Who cares? What discrimination? What? Discrimination? What? Come on, y'all. Please stop. That's just lame, man. Come on. You can be better than that. Why do you want to be a victim? Do they give you like a special, double coupon day at Kroger or something? What in the heck do you want to be a victim for? Why? You gotta go around and convince people that I'm a victim. Y'all, Abigail, I'm a victim, y'all. Abigail, Tom across the street, he got new tires on his car. That's why I'm eating this Nacho Bel Grande from Taco Bell. It's Tom's fault. What the heck's wrong with you? Y'all lame. Oh my gosh, y'all are goofy. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is some grade A goofiness right here. I don't know if this is weapon grade. This is what they was looking for. The weapons of mass deflictedness. This is what they was looking for. You have to look at Trump's policies and speak specifically target people of color. I am MAGA. Who cares? What does that have to do with me right now today, Noah? What does that got to do with me? I just want to know. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. Y'all, I might have to take a station break. Like, why? Why do you want to be a victim? I'm sorry. You're going to have to explain it to me. Please, somebody. Please tell me, why do you want to be a victim? That's the question. So the question for the hour is, why do you want to be a victim? That's going to be the question. Oh my gosh. I mean, God has given us so much just in Christ Jesus alone. Why in the world do you want? There you go. That's my question. Why do you want to be a victim? You have so much being born here in the United States. Why do you want to be a victim? I'm just sorry. It's easy and accepting. You know what, Jay? You might be on the money. The most diverse nation on the world. Stop the race baiting. People like to be pitied, and make excuses for why they haven't done better in life. God giveth and the government taketh away. Well, you know what? I can't argue with that at all. Do they ever stop and think what our precious Lord endured on this earth? He had to deal with dummies too. So yeah, I think that we need to think about that. Shout out. I like that, Prissy Chrissy. Thank you. America's the richest nation in the world. Other countries pale in comparison. And people are fighting and scrambling and scraping to get into the United States. But y'all sitting there talking about it's the most racist country on the planet. But the people's fighting and scraping and losing their lives to get in, but y'all said it's the worst place once you get in. Okay. All right. Okay. And now the Lord might have directed you to Chick-fil-A. The Lord is directing me to eat the salad that I got in the kitchen. So I'm gonna eat that salad tonight. So I'm gonna deny the movement of my car out of the garage to go down to Chick-fil-A. The argument is that the reason why other countries hate Americans. That argument is the reason why help me out. Rita. I like it. Thank you, Rita. Jason. I also am a first generation graduate with a BS degree. My oldest sister dropped out of school, but she worked hard, 2 to 3 jobs, bought her house and didn't complain. We are first generation legal. Let's see, but you didn't say, but don't you know that you're a victim? Don't you know, like I asked the question, why do you want to be a victim? You got to give me your victim points. Give me your victims. And I'm one of them, school nurse. I'm one of them. I love it. Thank you so much, Ninja. Thank you. I think it's because a sense of identity and pride in themselves and what makes one feel accepted and exalted and separate. I don't want to be, look, if that be the case, then I don't want to be a victim. I don't want to be a fool, as Luther Vandross saying. I don't want to be a fool ever again. That's what Luther said. I'm a victim of these calories. Right, man. The calories are attacking your boy. The calories, look, they assaulted and battered me. What is that? Other countries hate Americans because they think we know what oppression is. Oh, I got you. There we go. Yeah, absolutely. And they're getting education. They can do what they like. I love it. Thank you so much. I do miss Luther Vandross. I do. No argument for me. I do miss him. So I never let my disabilities define me. It just seems odd. And again, I'm a little bit torqued off, so I'm trying to cool down because it's like, why do we want that? I'm sorry. I don't get it. I am not smart enough to understand it. I am not able to put 2 and 4 together and come up with a number that even makes sense. Because I don't understand why people scramble and scrape, look high and look low to be a victim when they don't have to be. Like, why do you want to be a victim? It makes sense to me. None whatsoever. Okay, I'm just looking through. Okay. All Luthers. I know what you're talking about. Probably larger Luther. Big Luther. Yeah. I'll take Big Luther. Y'all are wild, man. I forgot about the skinny Luther, Big Luther argument. I would have thought about that before I said it. I just think both of them were good. Just like I think both Freddie Jacksons are good. I don't like the new Freddie Jackson, but I pray for his health. I think Alexander O'Neal, I hate that he got on drugs. All right, what do we got here? It says this. I had to stop being friends with someone because she says the white man is oppressing us while she stays in a house. I'm sorry, stay-at-home wife to a white man. Make that make sense. You just can't, man. You just can't make this stuff up. That's crazy word. Wait, let me read it again. The white man is oppressing us while she's a stay-at-home wife to a white man. That's crazy word, man. That's some grade 8. That's some, I don't even know where to go with that one. That's going to be on the list there for sure, Rita. Wow. Good night, man. Okay, I think my blood pressure's gone down. I think so, bruh. Like these people are crazy, man. That's just craziness. I'm sorry, and I'm talking about the us's and everybody else. If you sit around here talking about you oppressed and you live here in the United States, I'm sorry. I no, please. There's a seat over there in the back of the church. Go have a seat in the back of the church and be quiet. Don't say nothing else. Shh, be quiet. That's a crazy work, though. All right. Friend of the channel, Natalie Beesner, does an excellent video. She dunks on Candace wholesale every day. Well, she did a video today I thought was really good. So I wanted to bring it in, get your thoughts on it, hear your opinions on it, all that kind of stuff. And let's bring it in. Let's go. Green Hearts in the chat when you can hear. Let's go. That hit go.
And I do want to remind you that I met with Erica just a couple of months ago. And Erica told me that she had no more evidence than the public had. But now Andrew is giving us an update and saying now they since then they have found so much evidence. It's going to be crazy. And he's just emotional considering that Joe Kent, if he does get called by the defense, he would say this true sentence. And he was stopped from investigating foreign leads. And that would it would all crumble overnight. Top comment, it just wasn't working. And I don't believe that they have suddenly, since I met with Erica on December 15th, found all of this evidence that you are somehow privy to. And you wouldn't just share with the public, hey, we actually have a video of him taking a shot. That'd be great if you said that. But
So this is Candace Owens lying not once, but twice in the same episode about the same thing last week, or misrepresenting it, whatever you prefer to call it. And at the end of the video, I'm going to show you why this makes her such a hypocrite. So stay tuned. I know you already know she's a hypocrite. But Candace Owens, in these clips that I played for you, she is claiming that Andrew Colvett and other people at TPUSA are claiming that suddenly, since December, they've found all this new evidence, this mountain of evidence against Tyler Robinson, except nobody has claimed that. Nobody has claimed that since December, they found new evidence against Tyler Robinson. You would read that in the news if that was an actual thing. Nobody has claimed that, including Andrew Colvett. But see, the reason that she is claiming that they're suddenly saying that, and that it must have been evidence found since December, is that, and when Candace went to sit down with Erica in December for their one-on-one, Candace, immediately after their meeting, the next day, when she did her breakdown of the meeting, she claimed that one of the things Erica told her was that Erica has all of the evidence that the public has, or rather, I should say that the public has all of the evidence that Erica has. So Erica is not privy to any evidence against Tyler that you and I also are not privy to. And Candace thought that was very damning towards their case, because we all know she thinks there's not enough evidence. There's not convincing evidence against Tyler Robinson. But see, the problem there is that we only have Candace's word to go on about what happened in that meeting. The meeting wasn't recorded. We don't know who said what. And obviously, Erica hasn't really spoken about the meeting. Erica isn't shoving herself on camera, talking to us every day and talking about other people and gossiping and this and that. She's busy building, okay? And not that there's anything wrong with talking to you guys on camera every day. It's something I do, but Erica isn't talking about this like that. She's not an influencer. She's not a commentator. She flew to Candace Owens, sat down with her for almost 5 hours, answered her questions, and then that was it. That was it. She's not telling you what Candace said and this and that. And Candace has said various things that Erica said in that meeting that don't reflect very well on Erica, including that she threw Andrew Colvett under the bus when it came to his tweet about the, Man of Steel neck or whatever. You can go back and watch that episode if that's something that's interesting to you. But the point is, we don't actually know who said what in that meeting.
Correct.
But Candace claims that Erica said, nope, we all the evidence is out in the public. And so now, in Candace's worldview, well, if there's a mountain of evidence suddenly against Tyler Robinson, it must have been found since December. And she's claiming that that's what Andrew is saying. No, Andrew didn't say that. Andrew has always said there's a bevy of evidence against Tyler Robinson. That has always been their argument. That has never changed. It's not new since December. It's not evolving. That has always been their argument. And that is why they have campaigned for cameras in the courtroom, which thankfully there will be. And so we will see. We will see whether there is a mountain of evidence against Tyler Robinson. You will see whether there's a mountain of evidence against Tyler Robinson. I wish more people would wait until the trial, because I don't think a lot of people have read the charging documents. I don't think a lot of people actually even know what they're talking about. They just keep repeating lines about 30-06. But in any case, we will see. But see, this is a lie from her. This is a misrepresentation of what someone actually said when they've been saying the same thing since the beginning.
Correct.
Now, when it comes to Candace being a hypocrite, one of the last things she said in those clips is that it would be really nice if you guys said that you have video evidence of Tyler Robinson taking the shot. That would be great, but you haven't said that because you don't have it. So Candace essentially is saying that she will not be convinced by anything short of video footage of Tyler Robinson taking the shot. And to be honest, I don't totally believe that Candace, and especially a lot of her minions, would actually stop if they saw video footage of Tyler Robinson taking the shot. I think they would come up with something of, oh, like, this isn't real, it came from the government, whatever. I don't even think that would be enough. But Candace is basically saying anything short of that, I don't buy it. Where's your mountain of evidence? You don't have a video evidence of him taking the shot. But see, the problem with that is that just a couple weeks ago, I told you guys Candace Owens had a very long segment about Corey Richins on her show. If you're watching this on YouTube, I made a long video about it. I will link it above. But the reason that she brought up Corey Richins is that she was attempting to draw this parallel. It was in a response to Matt Walsh, but what she was really doing was attempting to draw a parallel between Corey Richins, who's a convicted murderer now, and Erica Kirk. Corey Richins, among other things, was recently convicted of murdering her husband, and she was attempting to draw a parallel between her and Erica Kirk. And one of the points that Candace used as presumably a point in her favor, a point in her corner, was the fact that Corey Richins was convicted largely on circumstantial evidence. She even brought up this headline from CNN.
They weren't even able to prove how she poisoned her husband. Check out this headline. Okay. Prosecutors in Corey Richins' murder trial could not prove how she poisoned her husband. They didn't need to. So they literally did not know how the fentanyl got into her husband's body. The article tells us, quote, to prove their case, prosecutors relied largely on circumstantial evidence to tie her to Eric Richins' death. Cases based on direct evidence are not necessarily stronger than those that rely on circumstantial evidence, legal experts say. Unlike direct evidence, such as eyewitnesses or recordings of a crime, circumstantial cases require jurors to determine a defendant's guilt by weaving together indirect evidence. In Corey Richins' case, prosecutors focused on potential motives for Corey Richins to kill her husband, and the actions they said show that she had a guilty conscience after his death, both elements that can illustrate a defendant's state of mind. They also used digital records to corroborate key witness testimony, which strengthened their circumstantial case. Quote, all of these things together start to add up, and the prosecution builds this huge mountain, end quote. And you should know that in this particular case, they relied on things like the fact that she was in financial distress, that she had been having an affair, that he apparently wanted a divorce, that she was, as you heard.
So Candace goes through that whole thing. Oh, how amazing it is that they got this conviction largely on circumstantial evidence, and they looked at motive, and they listened to witness testimonies, and they looked at the fact that she wasn't grieving right, which obviously is much more in depth than that. I took you through that in the video. You can go watch that if you want to. And so the implication there is, you know, Erica's not totally safe. Like, we could do the same thing to her. We could convict her on circumstantial evidence. You don't actually have to know how someone murdered someone else. You could just look at all this other stuff and convict them on that. So she's happy for that to happen to Corey Richins, which I do think it's a manner of justice being served as someone who followed that case. She's happy if that happened to Erica Kirk. But then when it comes to Tyler Robinson, circumstantial evidence, none of that. No, that's not good enough. It's got to be video evidence of him taking the shot. Does that seem like a fair standard? Does that seem like a hypocritical standard? Does that seem like a double standard? Because it does to me. If you're happy for Corey Richins to be convicted, even though the prosecution could never actually prove how she murdered her husband, then why are you not also happy for Tyler Robinson to be convicted, even if it never gets proven how he murdered Charlie Kirk? Now, that's an oversimplification. These are two separate cases. And again, when you look into the Corey Richins case, it's so much more than, oh, they couldn't really prove how she murdered her husband. It was, again, a mountain of evidence. But if you're happy for all of those things to add up to a mountain of evidence, enough to dissuade a jury from reasonable doubt and to have that jury convict her, even though, again, there was no smoking gun per se in that case, then why don't you hold the same standard to Tyler Robinson, who, again, does have a mountain of evidence against him? But you're holding the evidence to a higher standard. You need the footage of him shooting the gun. Why? Why the double standard?
Shout out to Natalie. I appreciate her. Yeah, I think that's a horrible double standard. But why am I surprised? Are we really surprised? Are we really, really surprised, people? Really? I don't think so. I don't think so one bit. What do we have here? All Tyler is manufactured. Oh man. They're making up evidence. They went to Evidence R Us and got that evidence packet. I like it. Okay. I appreciate it, man. Thanks so much. Usually flattens. Now trace the particular weapon. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, friend. There you go, Nikki. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming through. It's the Candace way of saying relevant. Oh, yeah, they manufacturing evidence, man. They're just making it up. They're making it up out of whole cloth, 3D printing and everything. That's what they're doing, y'all. That's what they're doing. I appreciate it all. All right. Ooh, no matchy. Ooh. All right. That's a profound thought process. Ooh, we got a lot of people coming in saying the bullet doesn't match. All right. Okay. Oh, yeah. Please make sure the candies, y'all come up to the front of the church. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank y'all so much. All right. This was a good one. All right. I'm not going to argue with that today. I don't feel like fixing that. All right. Got it. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to do that right now. I appreciate it. Look, what do we got? The bullet not matching wasn't actually confirmed. Don't say that out loud. People like to believe what they hear. They didn't actually read the actual document either. All right, it's a dangerous precedent. Oh man, this is a dangerous precedent. Mike said, man, they putting everybody away. Everybody needs to go ahead real quick. Tell me where you were on September 10th, because Mike said anybody can get it. All of y'all can get it, man. Y'all better watch out. Hide your wife, hide your kids. Everybody can get it. Because everybody can be framed. Got it. Well, thank you so much for following through. I appreciate you. But was you wearing maroon though? I got my maroon hoodie is over here. I can go grab it real quick. I can be joining in. That's not what the report said at all. Oh no, that means you actually read it. You didn't just read the headline. Oh man. All right. Cookie Candy said she testified for the defense. With what? You know she wants to. You know it. You know she does. That is so wild. I wouldn't be surprised. I guarantee she's asked. I guarantee she's reached out and asked, could she be a witness? To some degree, shape, or form, I'm sure. It was inconclusive, which is much different. See, you actually read the actual document. You didn't just read the headline and like the little blurb under it. You actually read the whole thing. Shout out. I mean, that's what they said in the charging document. What do you say? Multiple to the fragmented, flattened rounds. They cannot be matched to a weapon through regular ballistics tested against other rounds recovered. Well, there you go. All right, good people, good people. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me. This was a good one. This was a good one. I appreciate y'all. I am looking forward to taking accountability for my own decisions and not blaming it on other people. I have to change a headlight tonight, and I have to get my daughter ready for her trip tomorrow. So we are going to run to the store and make sure that she has everything she needs. Well, there we go. Tomorrow is Wednesday. I'll probably be on here a little earlier tomorrow because I got some things I want to do tomorrow. So I'll probably come on a little bit early, maybe like 4:30. I'll give y'all a heads up. I'll make sure I put up the announcement and let you all know about that. So you know what time we're gonna be popping in, what we're gonna be talking about. I might have a guest tomorrow too, so I'll let you know for sure. It's the 1st of April, and so that'll be cool. And I'll give you all of the intel tomorrow. They don't know where the video of his booking. Yeah, that's true. They're saying that the parents and the boyfriend are testifying for the prosecution. Yep, I just read that. Well, good people. Thank y'all again. Moderators, thank y'all so much for holding it down, keeping everything moving in the right direction. I really do appreciate it. Y'all, thank the mods. Let's just put mods in the chat because they do such a great job. They do help out a ton, way more than you realize. So flood the chat with mods. Let them know we appreciate them. Thank y'all so much for what you do. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much to our channel members. Welcome to our new channel members, whether you are gifted or you copped yourself a membership. Congratulations and welcome. New t-shirts. I'll give y'all for our final four. We had our championship round. The Aspen Gold video, of course, won, swept. So because of that, we got new t-shirts on the website. The new Grace and Peace t-shirt is up. So go ahead and check it out. Let me know what you think about it, as well as some other shenanigans on there as well. So check those out. Thank you so much to everybody. I appreciate each and every one of you in the best live chat on the internet, in the most electrifying comment section. Jump down in the comments. Let me know what you thought about today's show. Give me your feedback. You think I'm wrong about the Bible not being racist or partial? Racism doesn't exist. What do you think? Paul sending Onesimus back to Philemon. You think that's some form of oppression, systemic oppression, whatever? Let me know. Comment down below, all that kind of good jazz. Thank you so much, Nikki. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, y'all. You all are the best. I really do appreciate it. All right, let me go get this girl over to the store. So everybody have a great rest of the evening. I'll see you real soon. Grace and peace. Take care. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Witt Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.